Yeah, man.
Whoa, Scott, you're playing the wrong one.
Dude, haven't you been reading the chat? I've been saying that the whole time.
Oh, I haven't been reading.
Subway!
Noob.
Mail it on me, episode 4, the biggest episode we've done so far. I just played the entirely wrong video. Whatever, man, I'm figuring out Twitch. It's taking me time. Look, I was doing a facepalm. You know, alright, let's just roll with it. Do you really want to start over? We can start over if you want. I'm pretty happy.
Why not?
I don't give a...
Oh,
You don't give a hoot? Alright, so everybody, we're starting out with a super big piece of news. We are running a donation drive. So here's the, this is the full screen view. We're actually matching donations up to, drum roll please, $1,250. $3 to 1. So here's the first refresh. Okay, wow, that's a big jump. I don't know who did that. We might have to, add that to the drive actually, because we were at 37.52. So somebody already threw in
$70.
$70. So now we are at that, and I've got to make sure the money's right. Goal now, start. Goal is correct. Cool. So yeah, somebody threw in $70. Tell me who it was, and yeah, we'll figure it out. So anyway, let me explain the rules of this donation drive. So this is the number of money that we're at right now. For the whole podcast, thank you, Prague. For the whole podcast, we are going to match your donations from every dollar that you put in. You can start donating right now, by the way. Every dollar that you put into this Evo drive, which is, by the way, at okay, that's not a good link. This is one link. There's another one that's actually way simpler. Prague, do you know what it is?
What?
There's a link that, oh, okay, it's wepay.com/donations/evo2013-SSBM. Thank you, Shimesaba, too. So every dollar you throw in here, be it $5, $10, $20, whatever you can do, the Melee It On Me crew and a bunch of other extremely generous donators, including the Crimson Blur, Mogwai, Violence, Hab, Toph, Juggle Guy, Velocity, Bizarre Flame, Zope, and Matt.Zeb. Thank you guys so much. We are pooling our cash to match your dollar for 3 of our own dollars, up to $1,250. So that
and then
is,
I'm going to match the single highest donor up to a certain point.
Yeah. So and then if you guys are feeling insane, yeah, Sheridan is going to match the single highest. So if you have if you put in a bunch, then let us know how much it was, and we're gonna track like the highest donation as we go.
You can you can screenshot it or receipt it or something like that. There's a way that you can get it.
Yeah, man. So without further ado, let's let me go ahead and have the first refresh of the night. Oh, we're up some amount of money. 2,927. Thank you. So let's check out this cool math that my spreadsheet's going to do. So I'm going to change the now value. So our goal has gone down to, 1145, and that's going to be the total at the end of the night if we do hit our goal. Plus Sheridan, so there is some kind of wild card. Yeah, and our total goal is 5K. So everybody donate. Thank you so much, and we appreciate it so much. Yeah, and it goes to a great cause. We're supporting breast cancer research, and we're also working to get Melee at Evo. So without further ado, let's begin the show. I traditionally ask you guys how you're doing. Sheridan, what's up, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been working on the thesis all day, starting to come together.
Nice.
So, looking to defend that shit in probably 8 weeks, maybe less.
So what's the defense going to be like? You're just going to be like, you guys are dumb.
No, it's going to be me proving that I'm not dumb.
Well, what if they say, well, what about this? And you'd be like, well, it's this.
Yeah, that's my hope is to have an answer for every one of those. So basically, I'm going to give about an hour-long presentation of all my research in front of the committee and almost anybody else that wants to come, and they're just going to grill the hell out of me on everything, and they're going to tell me what's wrong with it, and then I'm going to fix it, and then everything's going to be good.
Sick. Beautiful. Perfect.
Yes.
Prague, how you doing, man?
I am hopped up on vitamin C, my friend.
Sick.
Yeah, quite literally. Been doing pretty good since Apex finished up. I was pretty much sick the entire weekend, but try not to show it. But doing a bit better today. Like yesterday, you heard my voice, so I sounded like I was a smoker with a voice box. And,
I did.
Yeah,
I did. I was.
it's no good.
I was on a Skype call with you. Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Cactuar, how are you doing? Oh, he's not here. How about you, King Funk? You were in the video. King Funk's actually on the stream. It's like 3 in the morning to him. Shoutouts to Sweden? Denmark.
Denmark.
Shoutouts, homie.
He's in the
Thank you
chat
guys
too. I see him.
thank you guys for being so awesome. So a few things that I wanted to address. Yeah, Cactus is not here. He may tune in a little bit later and get on the call. We'll see if he can. And yeah, there's no PayPal. You can donate through credit card or straight from your bank account. So yeah, if you want to do like PayPal or something, we can probably work something out. So yeah, just let me know through PM on Smashboards or something like that. So yeah, again, without any more further ado, let's get to the agenda.
Let's do it.
Do you think we should do a refresh like every 15 minutes or something? I think that would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe every 10.
Nah.
Let's just do it when we feel like it.
I feel
and
like it because
let's
like we've been
start
talking
rolling.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ready?
All right. Let's do it.
All right,
Let's go.
number
Let's
2.
go.
We're at 39:27. F5. Oh, it didn't change. I did it again. It just didn't change. All right, donate. Maybe some people have. I hope it's not in real time. Oh, somebody told me to control F5. All right, I'll give it a shot. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it
okay.
probably.
That went up.
Oh, wait.
Woo! 5,433. Wow,
Wait, what?
homies.
Wait, what?
Homies. Oh my God, we beat our goal.
Well, that was the shortest drive ever, I guess.
Oh my shit. We beat our goal by $361 in 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Woo!
Well, thanks for coming, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Holy- Okay, hang on. Let me go back. Let me go to the cab. This is Melee. Can I do one more woo? I know that my hamster's awake and he doesn't like loud noises, but can I do it again? A woo! Okay. Wow. You guys are actually insane. Okay, so don't stop though.
Literally
Right?
insane.
Can we
yeah.
not stop? Let's keep it going.
You know what?
Man,
For
I don't
that,
even know
I'll be
what
right
to say.
back.
All right.
Okay, Sophie's here.
Yeah,
We're
look at
celebrating.
this
What's up, Sophie?
Yeah.
When he screamed, our hamster went,
You do the dramatic
Yeah.
hamster.
yeah.
Wow! Holy crap!
Wow.
That's pretty amazing. I don't even know what to say. You guys are amazing.
Well, that's really something.
Well, that's $1,000 right there. I'm fucking out, and I was like half hoping that I wouldn't have to pay all that money, and it's like, ugh, all right. Prod, did you just do something epic?
Also, I just want to tweet on Twitter. Go and retweet that. Let Mr. Wizard know that we broke $5,000 real quick.
Okay, yeah. Let's also find out exactly how much was donated in the first 10 minutes because that's going to be fun. So,
Shouts to
now
Megabus.
minus start equals $1,600 in 10 minutes. Wow. Alrighty then. What can I call this? Like dominant? What we are? Our amazingness.
God damn.
Yeah. Goddamn. All right. So we do have a podcast to do. I'm not gonna take too much time oogling how cool we are. That's how much money we did.
We are
in-
pretty cool though.
in 10 minutes. Dude.
Not just us, fucking everybody.
I really want to know what Sheridan's out, by the way. So whoever made a sick nasty donation, please feel free to mention it in the chat. Wow. I was actually telling Sophie, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of nervous. Like, what if we don't hit it? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. All right. So, yeah. Well, see you at EVO.
All right, I'm out at least 336 from Ankoku.
What's 336?
That's how much he donated. I guess that was the number of
did it
entrants
too.
at Apex.
Wow, that is a sick number to donate. All right, that's sick.
That was Ankoku,
Yeah, that's super cool. Good stuff.
aka Eyesight.
Good stuff, Apex. All right, now that I've caught my breath, let's talk about Apex.
Let's do it.
Everybody was there. Oh my God!
I was there.
Do we have
Scar
a
was
number
there.
for-
Frog was there.
Can we give me Can we give me the link to the Apex thread? I have some numbers to share with everybody on this nifty Excel spreadsheet that shoutouts to Tafakin's Daniel Lee put together. So Tafakin's actually put together this count of who placed what in what region. So we have U.S. is West Coast, South, East Coast, Midwest. The rest of NA is Canada, Mexico, and then Puerto Rico's pretty close, and then Japan and EU. So Sheridan, actually, can you see this?
Let me see here. Yeah, I can see that.
So I wanted to know what your mathematical sort of analysis would be, or your conclusions from this data, right? So I have the biggest ones highlighted in green.
Uh-huh.
So think about that while I talk. It's like, whatever, maybe you don't have to. This is out of the top 128. There's actually only 13 regions represented because I guess, let me do this math, 15 were unknown regions.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it's pretty cool. It looks like Europe per capita had the best placements. This is because Armada got first. Somebody got top 16. And 5 of the 6 Europeans got top 32, which is a big accomplishment. Of course, they flew out, right? So you probably wouldn't fly out if you're a jabroni. But
Precisely.
oh my God! Somebody told me to refresh again. No, I can't refresh
No,
it. No,
no,
stop.
stop.
No, we're not looking.
Let's let it
Not
build up.
looking.
Checking 4 minutes.
Oh my God! But we can see the chat, and it's just
I
like,
did it.
oh my God. No.
Let's-
Yeah.
let's-
Okay.
let's do
no,
this. Let's
I can't-
go.
Can't talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm about to take the chat down.
Okay. Well,
No, I like the chat for the
Somebody-
archive viewers though, because they have.
I don't
so
know.
much fun
Yeah,
with it.
like you're saying, I guess you expect the people that flew the farthest to place the best.
Yeah.
So maybe not necessarily surprising that, that the Europeans did the best per capita, right?
Right. And so then West Coast similarly has a pretty strong showing in the sort of mid ranges.
Mm-hmm.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Can you see, do I have the screen up the right way? So, yeah, West Coast had a pretty impressive showing with the percent of top 16 players that were from the West Coast, as well as 32 and 64 was almost entirely, well, not almost entirely, was over 30% West Coast. So that leads me to believe that like the long tail of West Coast is super powerful. Of course, the East Coast would have had more locals come out, so that number's skewed. But yeah. Yeah, those are my
but
conclusions.
so, I mean, East Coast would have all their best players anyway,
Yeah,
right? So they should still come out on top generally once you get far enough down there.
yeah. So I could just go through like the top 8, which is, well, why don't I do the top 12 because But I'm going to do the top 16 because it's an incredible accomplishment for everybody. Armada, of course, won. It took home 3K in USD. I don't know how strong that is in his home country, but it's
Kroner.
fantastic. Dr. PP came in second. Super impressive showing in finals. Actually, should I put some videos up? Should I do some muted videos? Would that be cool? Chat, tell me if you want some muted videos to like watch for funsies. Mewtwo King came in third, which was like super incredible. Do we want to start talking about these one by one or what?
Let's just do the rundown first, and then we'll go.
Mango ended fourth place. He was double eliminated by Mewtwo King in some pretty exciting sets. Hungrybox and Shroom tied for fifth. Hungrybox actually played amazing at this tournament.
Yeah.
I was like on the edge of my seat with a lot of his sets, and I think that he played his heart out, and he lost two really close sets to like two of the best players in the world. I was super impressed by Hungrybox at this tournament. He always places really well, but man, his play was great. Shroomed from NorCal, NorCal. Shroomed ended up tied for fifth, which is an incredible accomplishment for a Dr. Mario player, and he's just so talented. And I think that he played
Did he
well.
go Doc the whole way through?
I don't think so, but a lot of the top sets he was Doc. So he beat. Did he beat Axe? No, he beat Over. He beat KK, and he beat another Sheik.
Awesome.
All with Doc, so that was awesome. So that's top 8. The top 12 is Silent Wolf over Triforce, who whooped me. Axe and V wins. So good job to everybody.
I played over Triforce once. I don't know if you guys know about that.
How
That
did it
time
go?
that I played him in tournament.
How did it go? Sounds
Round
like you're
5.
about to say
Went
you
pretty
beat him.
good.
Oh, Sheridan,
It's up on
NorCal.
YouTube. I suggest you check it out.
All right, everybody, check out.
On the other
Hugo.
hand, I didn't make bracket at Apex 2013, so
Is your name even on here? Hang on, Sheridan. Did you go by Hugo?
yeah.
Hugo. Hang on, this is super funny. I'm gonna full screen this. When you search for Hugo, Microsoft Excel cannot find the data you're searching for. Sorry,
On
buddy.
blast.
Yeah, on blast. Let's find Scar 25th. Not too bad.
Dude, I've never. I almost always do really well at nationals, but I've never made bracket at Apex. I've never gotten out of my first pools at Apex. I don't know why this is.
Yeah.
I think I'm just cursed in that area.
Yeah. So hey man, it's tough. You know what I mean? It's a tough tournament. But congratulations to those top players. Congratulations to everybody who placed in like the top 16, top 32. It was a really tough tournament.
Oh, definitely.
I would love to talk about day by day for Apex. So I also have like a breakdown of topics, but I think just talking about day by day would be pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
So day one, can I ask you guys what you thought? Prague, you were behind the mic the whole time, right? So what was your
Pretty
experience
much.
like with that?
Day one started out myself and I believe Doggy or D1, I can't remember. I feel like it was Doggy, but we did the opening introduction with Clash tournaments to stream, and it was all pretty much teams for the actual competition itself. A lot of intense teams matches, some strange pairings that worked out, and of course, you had a great Cinderella story in the pairing of Shroomed and PPU. So shout out to those guys. However, I think sorry, I'm still sick. When it came to stealing the show, I think it all went over to Shuda and Gucci, who had the first 2 matches on stream. And I think, there's this big issue that keeps repeating itself. If you're not from the United States, we don't know how good you are, and we don't, give you as much credit as you deserve. We learned it at the first Genesis with Armada. We learned it last year's Apex with Hobby, and I think this year we learned it again with how Gucci performed. So, shouts to those guys.
Cool.
And
So
that's,
Awesome.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
how late did teams go? Were you working the desk? Were you working the stream and the commentary the whole time?
Pretty much, yeah. I think I was there the entire time.
It's crazy.
Everything's been a blur, so I don't remember too
Yeah.
much.
Prague also gave me a ride from Brooklyn all the way down to Apex that morning. I flew into JFK, took the train down to his neighborhood, and he gave me a ride. So thank you very much again, Prague.
No problem, sir.
Yeah,
I hope you didn't mind Sunset Park in Brooklyn.
that was cool. Yeah. So let me talk about how I felt about it.
Absolutely.
So just a caveat before I go into this is just I'm always looking. I just can't avoid looking at these through the eyes of a TO, right? So I'm just going to notice a lot of these things probably people wouldn't notice, but just I notice them because I have experience with this kind of stuff, and it's just impossible for me not to. But I feel like, first of all, I really enjoyed everything that happened. Teams was fun, singles was fun, even though I didn't make it out. But had a great time playing everybody. Teamed with Rock Rock, he's a great guy.
The best.
We didn't do that well, but that's okay. It was still mega fun. But I feel like the teams bracket was definitely run slower than it could have been. I think we waited about 2.5 hours between our second and third set in the bracket, and that doesn't seem like, that it seems like it should be able to go a little faster than that. And that was a little frustrating because I wanted to know, when the break was when I could go eat, and I kept thinking that, well, I'm in losers bracket now. My match is going to come up soon because you always do losers before you do too much of winners. So I kept waiting and waiting, and I ended up waiting 2.5 hours, and then lost my next match, and then went to eat after that. So that's. I mean, I realize they have a lot to do. It's a big bracket, but it gets and my experience in that is not unique. So, I think that gets a little frustrating to the people because, people want to make sure they're around. They don't get DQ'd. They want to hang out and hear their next match. But, when it takes that long, people just get, kind of anxious and they want to play, and so
Yeah.
a little frustrating.
Yeah. So I'm going to link the Google Doc in chat. So by the way, and Sheridan brings up a lot of good points that I would like to speak to because I had a very similar experience. So in this chat, so this is the chat for twitch.tv/Bobby_Scar. I posted a link to this Google Doc. It gives you directions for how to call in if you're interested. You just add me on Skype. I would love to hear from other people who had, I guess, similar or different experiences with day one. So, Sheridan and I had a kind of similar day one. It seems like we took everybody and put them into a big bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, after I think my first set, it took a while for us to be called, but after it was actually like, it was actually 2 hours before, before I played my second set. So we ended up getting 17th. I don't know how big the bracket was, but I think that we played 4 sets. I think we won 2 in winners and then lost the next 2. So SFAT and I got 17th, and yeah, so that's a whole day. I mean, our last team set was actually somewhat late.
So it must have been. It was a 128 team bracket, but there was probably several buys in there.
Right.
We definitely had a bye first round, yeah.
Yeah. So when I first got to the venue, I saw a shit ton of setups. It looked amazing. They were all numbered. It looked really organized. And so I thought it was going to be, it looked promising.
Yeah.
And I still think they had a great number of setups.
Absolutely.
But it's still so when the doubles tournament first started, they said just pick a TV and play on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you're going to do that, why go through the trouble of numbering all the TVs? I mean, just tell them to play on a number.
Yeah,
that's what TO's for. You got
Yeah.
that station manager.
Right, that's a really salient point. They did have a bunch of numbered TVs, right? And and we were often told to just play on whatever TV.
Yeah. But to their credit, they eventually started calling them on the numbers, and I think it started going smoother.
Yeah.
Around there. And I also felt like, even though there were a great number of setups, they had probably the perfect number to get everything done. My God, was that room crowded! It was just a chore to get around anywhere. If you had a TV at the other end
Oh
of the
my
venue,
god.
I mean, you had to bulldoze your way through that, and you had to take care that you weren't bulldozing through anybody that was playing a tournament match, because it's so frustrating when somebody bumps into you, and you're trying to edge guard somebody. So that frustrated me a little bit too. Um, so
Do you think the floor plan could have been improved?
Well, I wouldn't want to really comment on that since I didn't spend a whole lot of time studying it, and I'm not sure exactly about all the things that they were trying to do.
Right.
But just from a first glance, I do feel like they could have made a little bit more use of that first room for some of the Smash setups. But again, I don't know the full details, so I could be wrong about that.
Right, and again, like to Alex Strive's credit, to the Apex team's credit, it was only that crowded because they got an absurd number of people
Absolutely, absolutely.
to come to
Yes.
this tournament. So, something that I do kind of want to talk about is, and we're going to bring some people on. So Ripple actually wants to join the call, and I'm happy to bring him on in just a minute. Something I want to talk about is I don't think that we have really agreed on what makes the best tournament. You know what I mean? What makes an incredible tournament. So I talked to Alex Strife a little bit, and Alex, if you're watching, please feel free to jump on. And he said that one of the big pieces of feedback that he got from Apex last year was that a lot of people said they didn't get enough friendlies, and I felt that this tournament had like an absurd number of friendlies. You could play friendlies for 8 hours in the day if you wanted. I mean, of course, I can stay on because I'm not
Yeah.
bad at the game, but I felt like I could play friendlies, and I did play friendlies for 3 hours, like all 3 days. So
Yeah, actually, I was at the last year's Apex and the one before, and both of those I found I had enough friendlies to play the whole time, so that wasn't a big issue that they needed to improve on from my perspective. But I couldn't. Maybe I'm just not representative of the rest of the Smashers.
all right, so I'm gonna refresh the donation drive, and we are also gonna bring Ripple on. How's that sound?
Okay.
Scar, you don't even want to look.
I don't.
You don't want to look.
All right,
Oh,
guys, we are at
God.
$5,433. This is the second refresh, a half hour into the podcast. Oh, that's a big number.
Good God.
Okay, we're at $7,187. I don't even really know what to say. The number doesn't show up. So we have
Sorry,
cleared our
guys.
goal of $1,200 by $2,115. We've donated in 30 minutes $3,365. So let me just benchmark these. So this is 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Wow. All right. Well, this is a success. Thank you guys so much. This is actually super amazing. If I were a crier, I would certainly be in tears, but I'm not. I'm super, have super dry tear ducts all the time. So, let me pull, oh, Alpha Zealot's available. What's up, AZ? I'll bring you on soon. Let's bring Ripple into the chat. Ripple,
Okay.
you ready? Did you check your mic settings? Better not mess it up. I like Ripple. He's a funny guy. Ripple!
Hey guys.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Well, I can hear you. It's fantastic. How's it going, dude?
I'm alright. I'm a little sick from Apex though.
So,
Also,
what was the portmanteau of Apex and Plague? It was a Plague.
Hey, Plague X.
That's not as
Plague X?
Yeah, it could have been better.
Sorry.
So Ripple, you had something to talk about with regards to doubles.
well, this goes for doubles and singles, but and I don't really agree with this, but the way pools or the bracket was run, at least first, was that we did we went down the list for the bracket, just calling like Team 1 at the very top would go TV1, and then next and so forth. And then we actually just waited until all of it was complete for the next round to
Oh
start.
wow. Oh wow.
Yeah, and Scar was asking me about that. Like every like couple like a half hour, he would come and check in. He's like, "Do I play yet? Do I play yet? Nope, nope. The round's not over yet."
See, at least I'm responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now-
that does seem a little inefficient. That's
Yeah,
actually
it was slow.
if I just some quick math in my head says that's probably about you could do it about 50% faster if you just keep calling them.
Yeah. I know. And I was just a volunteer though, so
Oh yeah, and not you did what you had to do, and that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's good to know. So yeah, and again, so actually, a super cool and related note. Someone on the boards actually PM'd me recently about starting a Kickstarter for like a TO handbook. So we were actually talking about a TO handbook maybe a couple months ago, which would like outline best practices and some innovations that we want to try. And I think that's like a super awesome idea. And I think that we've run so many tournaments, and so many tournament organizers have reinvented the wheel for themselves. And if we shared information just a little bit better, I think that all of our tournaments could be better. And if we had a playbook for how to run a national, that would be amazing. Because really, Alex, as far as I can tell, he was in uncharted waters with the number of people that showed up.
Totally. So
whatever he did, he was the first to brave that kind of storm.
Yeah. So every criticism I make, I definitely want people to understand that it's tempered by the fact that Alex went out and tried to do more with his tournament than anybody else in the past. Yeah. And when you try new things, it's not always going to go perfect. You're going to have to make some sacrifices. So just understand that anytime I make a criticism about how it was run.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing is that after really awesome, huge nationals with like incredible finals and stuff, it always breathes new life into the community. You know what I mean? And I think that having everybody in the same room is like the sickest thing. We had like so much fun. So anyway,
I was actually addressing that on stream. That the last two events on the East Coast that were streamed, we kind of had these climactic moments where everyone had their eyes on us and we had faltered. But at this time, everyone all together in the same room, nothing bad happened. I mean, considering what bad has been for us recently, nothing bad has happened.
Wait, didn't something bad happen?
Well, we'll get to that later on.
Said, we'll get to
that later on.
Isn't that pretty bad though? What do you mean?
Well, I don't know.
That's a different kind of.
I don't even know
Oh,
about this.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we know the full details on it. So
shall I get into it then? Well, for those of you that don't,
Ripple, do you know some insider information? Prog, do you know all the insider information?
Only about certain thefts. That's it.
Well, but
Yeah.
maybe not everybody wants us to talk about it, so it's hard to say whether we should talk about it.
Well,
Yeah, there were some thievery.
Well, actually, it's actually a good. It's pretty good to talk about because a lot of people do know that Alex did lose perhaps $1,000 or more dollars in equipment. However, a lot of people, and I haven't heard too much from the Smash community themselves, but the fighting game community has said, I think even Mr. Wizard himself tweeted out that, hey, this guy tried to go above and beyond. If you want to take like the fund for donations and stuff to try and replace these things, because everything went swimmingly and it's something that should be noted, we're down for it. So definitely a big shout out to everyone that wants to help him continue with this type of thing. So Apex 2014 was in jeopardy because of this. However, I feel like it's going to happen. But definitely support him if you can.
Yeah. So did he make a post about it, by the way? If
He
so,
Well, he
I'd
did.
made
love
a
to.
It
start on
was
the
it was not very detailed, but yeah, he did make a post about
So
it.
someone in
He
the
did
chat
make a-
wants to link to that post. We can take a look at it, redirect everybody in the stream to it, and if anybody's
I mean, it just said, "I'm disappointed because I lost this much
yeah,
stuff."
it's not
you
sort
know,
of asking for support or anything like that.
right, but there was definitely some outpouring of support
Mhm.
later on in that thread, so that's good to see.
Mhm. Mhm.
And also, with that being said, he did post exactly what was lost in the Apex staff group, which of course I'm at liberty to say, but it's really disappointing to see that much stuff being lost. So
Mhm. Yeah.
There's tons of stuff lost this year as opposed to like last year, from what I've heard.
So yeah, that's pretty sad.
also shout out to Mr. Wizard who just said, "Good job, Smash community." He knows how much we're pulling in tonight.
Nice job,
Awesome.
nice job, guys.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, Mr. Wizard. Dude, every time I hear that, I just think of Neo when he's running away from all the agents, and he calls Tank, and he's like, "Mr. Wizard, get me the hell out of here!" I always thought it was like a crazy line. Why are you calling Tank Mr. Wizard? I think there's like something about it, but it's like a reference to something else.
I always think of the science guy. He was on Nickelodeon, Mr. Wizard. You ever watch that show?
Yeah,
Or was that before your time?
Probably before my time, Sheridan.
Before me.
I'm a couple months older than you, so I'm a couple
That's
weeks
true.
older than you, but I remember it. Yeah.
Alright, I just zoomed in the chat, so now you guys can see better. I mean, you could see it from... never mind. Alright, Ripple, anything else? How do you feel? Any more to discuss?
I mean, like, just give me a topic and I could probably go off on it.
No, man, you give me your topic. It's not how this works.
Ah,
Yeah, just anything you want to say about you felt during your volunteer work.
I just want to say that I wish a little more people would listen to Full Metal and Maria and me when we were calling people to play singles matches when I was recording everything, or at least trying to. I was in charge of like 4 recording setups, and like
Wow.
I needed people to go to those TVs because I wouldn't know where they would be otherwise, and it was like such a big hassle because I mean like a couple big players did not play on like recording setups in those matches. You guys will never see them. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to throw out names, but they got kind of like blown up and almost DQ'd for it for not listening to us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so do we know about all the DQs, right? Can we talk about that? Do you remember
Well-
the
Okay,
pools
yeah.
being shifted around? Ripple, do you have any comment on the DQ policy at Apex?
Yeah, I don't really agree with Full Metal and Maria, or I don't even know who, but they switched the pools at like 11 at night.
Yeah.
And even though they did throw it on like Twitter, Facebook, Smashboards, no one's gonna check it if they're already gone from the venue.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's you can't. I mean, you can't update the schedule like that. And I mean, you can, but you can't expect such a strict adherence to it the day after. Especially because I know that one pool got switched from the latest round all the way to the first, or some people in the
Yeah.
latest one got switched to the first. And I mean, that's a difference of 8 hours or whatever in terms of showing up.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. And I don't know what they were going through, but
Do
gotta
we
be a little
have
bit
a
more
reason
than
why it
that.
was switched?
I think they reorganized the schedule a little bit. Like they started out having 4 rounds
Yeah.
or 4 waves
Okay.
of pools, and they switched it to 3.
Okay.
And there was some mismatches in terms of who was in what pool. So
All right.
yeah,
Yeah, I was in pool 7, so I went from thinking that I was at 10 to actually playing at like 5 o'clock or something like that. For me, it wasn't a big deal because I got word, right? But if I hadn't, it would have been a real
Yeah.
big bummer.
It ran
Especially
too
if I-
fast.
The waves, the bracket
Yeah.
pools?
Yeah. After the 3rd round, we were an hour and a half ahead of schedule,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's
I
kind of
think- yeah.
ridiculous.
yeah. I think well, and I think actually the bracket pools could have been run even faster.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They could have been done. Each one of them could have been done maybe a half hour earlier than they were actually done. Mine only lasted. Mine didn't even last like an hour 15, because we had me and Kirby Kaze in there who know how to run a bracket, and we powered through everything.
Yeah.
We had 3 TVs, so yeah.
I was actually going to ask. I wonder if, because it's actually kind of hard to run a bracket by hand. I mean, you know, I've done enough that I know how to do it. But if I hadn't played the game in double elimination brackets for like 7 years, I actually wouldn't know what to do. Probably like 4 years,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do. So
Well, actually, it was nice because they had the bracket printed out and handed to the person,
Mhm.
and I think brackets are a lot easier for them to play themselves than pools are, because everybody knows who they have to play next, instead of just, oh, play somebody in your pool. You know, everybody knows who's they're going to play next when the TVs are open. So although I still wouldn't want them to be run themselves, I would still like, you know, a volunteer to run them.
yeah.
But they're a lot easier to run. You know, they run themselves more easily than round robin pools.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Thanks so much for your time, Ripple. You can obviously come on in a little bit if you want to come back on. We'll do call in soon.
Cool.
But now we're going to bring on our special guest, Ski Sonic. So, Ripple, peace, homie.
Peace.
And yeah,
Thanks very much.
how do I get you
problem.
out of here? There you go. He's gone. There it is. He's gone. All right, let me get Ski Sonic in here. Oh no, dude! I actually even forgot to put the stream as a stream on the boards. Maybe I'll do that while Ski Sonic is talking.
Oh,
Sure.
on Smashboards?
Yeah,
I already did that.
you did?
Of course.
Oh well, Bionic was saying he would like hook us up with something. Anyway, special guest Ski Sonic. I'm calling him now. He's got a cool pumpkin with like a hoodie.
How do I get a picture on my freaking where my video should be?
You should ask Ski Sonic.
I have a picture of my kitty cat that I want to put.
Ski Sonic, you there?
Yeah. Do you want me to do video?
If you'd like, yeah.
Up to you.
It'd be fantastic.
Oh my god, I gotta put pants on. Hold on. It's just a second.
Pretty amazing.
I lied.
Here it comes.
Don't have to put pants on because you can't see.
What's
my
up, dude?
legs.
Pretty clever.
How you doing?
Not too bad.
man.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit raspy still from Apex, so I sound weird. But other than that, doing mostly well. I actually had a really bad flu like a couple weeks ago, and I'm still getting over that as well. But yeah, I'm hanging in there. I'm great, actually.
Well, sorry to hear that that you weren't feeling well. The Apex plague strikes again.
Nah, man, it was cool. I went into Apex with the antibodies already built up, and I made sure to just give DAPs to most people, so like I didn't pass anything on to. So I think all in all, it should be a relatively low activity, like virulence year for the tournament. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's
At
actually
least
a
for
really
me.
pro tip. Wife from MDVA one time long ago told me that the pound is a much more sanitary way to congratulate a person on a victory than a handshake. So, pro tip for everybody: stop spreading germs.
Definitely.
I got so many pro tips for tournaments, dude. I could go on for years. What is this on? I'm gonna tweet this. Is this VG Bootcamp or something?
Yeah, VG Bootcamp or my stream we're simulcasting. So, I mean, I'd prefer that you do
Is
mine,
it?
which is
What's yours?
twitch.tv/Bobby_Scar.
Gimmer's like, come on, man.
Dude, Gimmer's the homie, though. Sorry, Gimmer. Let's just, come on, what am I supposed to say? You could do Gimmer. Whatever.
No.
And
no.
the podcast is called Melee It On Me, because we are
No.
so funny. We came up with that brilliant pun.
Dude, I know, man.
Right?
You guys would probably work out well with James Chen. You know what I was thinking, actually, and I'm gonna tweet this joke as well, but I gotta say, you also the only way the name for this podcast could have been better is if you called it Melee It Upon Me. You know, Melee It Upon Me, because you have a pun right in the name.
Wow.
Melee It Upon Me, and you guys definitely love the puns.
Man, I'm not even gonna be able to sleep at night now. Talk about a missed opportunity.
I don't know, and I tell you, sometimes they just come to me, and I don't know what to do. I have to just put them out there.
Yeah,
pretty
I
brilliant.
think we need to implement pun control in this stream.
Probably. And
Wow! No! Are we going down this road right now?
I'm stopped. I'm done.
All right,
I'm
we're done. We're done.
Okay. So, actually, we haven't refreshed in a long time. Skisana, do you want to be here for the next refresh, or shall we just have you guys chat everything out?
What do you? I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, so we're doing a
Let's just go.
donation
Let's just go.
drive
Let's just go.
for.
Let's rock it.
dude.
yeah,
Here
yeah,
for
let's
whatever, dude.
Yeah, we're doing a donation drive for the Evo Fund, and
Oh, I can't help with that.
we started at.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you can't show favoritism. We started at $3,822 50 minutes ago, right?
Really?
You take a guess where you think we are? Did you look at it?
I did, man.
Okay, so yeah.
What the hell?
So
That's
yeah, what the hell, right? Refresh. Wait. Maybe I already did it by accident.
Yeah,
Guys.
yeah.
50 minutes ago.
50 minutes ago. So now we're at $7,810.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much, everyone. We have donated $3,988 in the past 50 minutes.
So, Ski, guessing that a lot of people who are here in the podcast probably aren't that familiar with you. So if you just want to give a quick introduction for who you are.
I go by Ski Sonic. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I've been playing fighting games for a long time. I got started with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I do a weekly podcast for Shoryuken.com called Wake Up Shoryuken.
Yes. Yep.
And I am also a commentator for various fighting games, mostly doing MVC3 nowadays. And I'm most well known for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which was a long time ago.
All right. So, basically, a lot of people in the Smash community, they aren't, because of how long ago Smash was in the Evo circuit, they aren't too familiar with it unless they follow standard fighting games. So if you want to go into a bit of the history of the Evolution Championship Series.
There was a tournament called B4 back in, I want to say, like 1999 or something, that was conceived of by the Cannon brothers to just challenge the north and the south of California, the battle between the bays, B3. Battle between the bays. And then this tournament series basically continued on and grew to kind of like the meeting between the United States, and then it became the international thing, and it became Evolution. It started out in California for its first few years, and this was the meeting place of various fighting games. There were actually many games back in the day. There were 6 or 7 or 8 like there are this year. Progressed on and exploded with Street Fighter 4 in 2009, and that pretty much brings us to where we are today. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Street Fighter 4, tearing things up, and everything else is, bringing up the rear.
So it's been about 4 or 5 years now since the last time that a Smash game has been represented. I know that in 2008, Brawl was in there with a different rule set, and 2007 actually was the one lone time that Melee appeared, if I recall correctly. Lost train of thought. Oh God.
So,
Oh, you just dropped it in the middle. You're just like, oh!
It's that Apex Plague.
Just totally
that Apex Plague.
threw the ball into the stands. Hit like a little kid on the head. That's like the colossal. That's the magnitude of that drop.
Dude.
Sorry to put you on blast. I'm having too much fun.
Get
Dropping
that
combos, man.
Get that podcast weight up, dog. Put in that training mode.
So,
Dropping them combos.
Bro, do you just want to go to the Apex recap then from from Ski Sonic's POV?
Sure.
Yeah, just give me your. So you were there for 3 days, right?
I was there for 2 days.
Was it Saturday and Sunday?
Wait, I was there for 3 days.
Gotcha.
I guess you could say it's probably technically 2 days. I got there probably 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, so yeah, sure. They're essentially 3 days.
Yeah.
But I missed most of the Friday action is the key there.
Okay. Yeah. So if I would love to hear what you generally did Saturday and Sunday, and what were your highlights, what were your lowlights?
I did commentary for the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 pools. I missed the Street Fighter 4 pools on Friday night, unfortunately, but it ended up working out for me because of the way that it was scheduled. I got to sleep in really late on Saturday, so I got to stay up really late Friday, hang out with everybody that was there at Apex, and that was one of the keys of the tournament for me. It wasn't huge for the games that I play, but the players that were there were very, very quality. So I expected a lot from both of those tournaments that I was looking out for, the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 tournament and the Street Fighter 4 tournaments. And they definitely lived up to my expectations. There were lots of upsets, big names going down left and right, and really, really fun matches to watch. So that was that, and also the Smash Brothers stuff. I actually sat and watched the top 8, most of the top 8 of Melee and Brawl with Ultra David and some other people, and we just had fun watching those. Actually, for Melee, I got really, really, really hyped. I lost my voice screaming at the finals of Melee, and there was some dude, I don't know who he was, but he might know who I was, or just the crazy guy that was jumping around screaming and obviously didn't know anything about the game. He probably thought that I was just a college student or something, or a townie or something, just what is this? Yeah, where's Mario? And but I was actually really hyped for America guy. Was it Dr. PP or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. And see, at the time I was still just figuring out who was who during the matchup, but I really got into it, and then we just kind of had fun watching Brawl. All of Brawl.
Yeah.
Brawl and Brawl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brawl.
Actually, Ski, I think I remember from last year's Apex, you were in attendance, and during one of the transitions from game to game, you said that you actually had taken a college course for credit on Melee, right?
Yeah, it's on my transcript.
Oh my god, I heard
So the
about
guy
that
was
class.
talking about that.
What did you get? What grade did you get?
Well, they gave me a pass, but I mean, you actually had to fill out an application to get into the class, and they would ask you some questions. What is your favorite game? What's your favorite fighting game? Who's your favorite fighting game character, and why? And I said, my favorite fighting game character is Storm. And this was way before MVC3 came out. I said my favorite fighting game character is Storm because I can go ha 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 and win. And they were like, "You're in the class immediately. You're definitely here. We want you in the class." And they taught me various skills I don't know, I guess ledge guarding and power shield and all that stuff. They taught me, and they taught about tiers and just competitive play and all that kind of stuff. So I just learned a basic primer of the game. It was very, very fun and interesting, and I got a credit for it.
That's awesome.
Oh,
So, do you think that your education, formal as it was, helped you enjoy watching Melee?
Yeah, definitely. Because I was always interested in the game, and coming from the part of the community that I am in, where we didn't really know how Smash Bros. Tournaments went. It was kind of I heard they had 1,000 people and they all pay $75 for their tournaments, and everybody makes so much money. And that was the kind of stuff that we heard about the tournaments. So I always wanted to know how the game went and a little bit more about the community. So to actually have the opportunity to get it in a class was ridiculous for me. And I finally learned how to beat the girl, because there's a girl in the class that used to beat me down. And by the time that I was done with the class, I could like take a few games off of her, and being able to beat a girl is like I think an accomplishment for a semester.
Absolutely. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And
I,
kind of a
I used to talk to her, dude. I gotta say, I used to just try to build up the beast with her because like I was like, "You're really good. Like, are you related to like Ken or something?" And she's like, no, like my brother goes to tournaments or something, and I'm like, oh, like he's Ken, right? Like he goes to tournaments, he wins them all. He's Ken because you're really good and you beat me. She's like, no, he doesn't win anything. He's not very good at all. And I just felt really bad because I thought it had to be the sister of Ken.
because she was that good.
She beat me. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
I like to approach fighting games with the mentality that I'm gonna be good at them. And then Smash Brothers, like every time I jumped in, I just always got like mercilessly beat down, and I
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
figure out like how to apply my learning of fighting games to the game. And I figured like there should be a way, but I just didn't know like the matrix that I had to be multiplying stuff across. And that class was what it was. Like I got the skills to like figure out what movement was and like what offense and defense truly was, and then I could understand the game. So going all the way back to your question, like that class definitely did it for me, and it was actually right before Brawl came out, so it was the perfect time for me to learn about Melee, and it was when Melee was very well figured out, and then I could figure out Brawl as it was being figured out with everybody else. So it was a fun time for me to participate in Smash Brothers.
Awesome. So happy to hear it.
Yeah.
So, Prague Sheridan, you have any questions?
Yeah. So, have you? How many of the last Evos have you been to? I mean, have you been to all of them since when or what?
I went to every single Evo since before it was Evo. I went to B5, which was the
Wow.
one before
Wow. Okay.
Evo, and then all of the Evos.
So you are an Evo
Yeah.
veteran for sure.
Yeah.
So can you give me like a sense of how much it's grown in the last 5 years or so?
Yeah. Well, okay. So this is 2013, and then so 2008 was the last year that it was, like a regular tournament. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But it was still in Las Vegas, so it still had the very, very, just elegant and like not elegant, just an epic feel, I would say. Before that, it was in California up to I think 2004, and I would compare it then very much to the way that Apex is. It was still very community run in a college. It was on a college campus, and you had a lot of volunteers, and just they're essentially an identical structure. It grew out of that into what we have at Vegas for a while, and Street Fighter 4 came out, and it went from having a maximum of 300 to 400 for the biggest game to overnight, like over 1 year, 1,000 man tournament, 1,000 man plus.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that just changed everything. That was when all these eyes came onto the 2D, the traditional fighting, whatever you want to call it. When Street Fighter became the game that like the quote unquote esports, the general fighting game, the general video game public, they all turned their attention to Street Fighter 4. It hit at the right time, and Evo was the premier and still is the premier fighting game competition. So well, those things went hand in hand, and that was when Evo really exploded.
Cool. Yeah, so like we talked about earlier, so the last time that Smash was in there we had Brawl in 2008 and Melee in 2007, right? So, some people in the Smash community, that's all they know about Evo is those two events is when Smash was there.
Mm.
So, when they hear that Melee is going to be an Evo, they might not think it's that big of a deal because okay, we had our games at Evo, and that was fun, but we didn't get a whole lot of publicity or community growth necessarily from all those. So there's some skeptical people in the community, and what I really want to understand is, how big of an opportunity is this for Melee to be in Evo this year? Considering what you just said about how much growth Evo's seen in the last 5 years.
Well, I think across 3 days of Evo, you're looking at least 30, 40,000 like at the jump when the stream turns on, and then upwards of hundreds of thousands of viewers towards the end, and Melee will be anywhere in there. And it's not just that it's all these people that never watch fighting games, but it's everybody that is interested in a fighting game. I think that a lot of people that are new players for the year get their first exposure to fighting games through Evo. I mean, it has to be that way. That's by the numbers. There's an inflation. There's an experience that goes along with Evo that people watching tune into and stick with, and it's just obvious by the numbers that that weekend is when everybody wants to see like when the next fireball is going to be thrown or whatever. And I don't know, I guess it would be a great opportunity for Melee to show what the game is and stands, how it stands with other fighting games, shoulder to shoulder.
Great, yeah, because those, I mean, I don't know, I don't remember what the biggest we've pulled at an Apex or Genesis was. I mean, maybe like 5,000, something like that. So,
I know we had 12.
Nah, you guys
We
had
had
to have
12 at Apex.
yeah,
Oh, yeah?
there were
Yeah.
like way over 10,000 people on Apex, man.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, so, but I mean, getting upwards of 30, 40, maybe even 100, I mean, that's just a completely new game. So, I mean, that sounds pretty amazing. That sounds like some amazing exposure for the Smash community.
Yeah. So hey, can I ask a follow-up question? I was wondering, at Evo, do people generally come to enter like a specific game, or should we expect that we'll see a bunch of people who maybe don't know anything about competitive Smash enter the tournament?
Well, so at Evo, more people come out for their first tournament ever than any other tournament. And those people will play, they'll usually enter whatever like the game is that they've had a lot of experience with. Like it'll be generally Street Fighter. I think Melee potentially could be a game that a lot of those people would enter as well. Just any game that they've played a lot in their past. They're not necessarily looking to win the tournament or even advance out of their pools. They're just looking to like go experience competition. So if they know how to throw a fireball, they might just as well know how to throw a fireball in Melee, which is really straightforward.
Dude, it's super easy. You just press the red
Right.
button.
Right? So they might just go ahead and enter that, right? And otherwise, there are people that play a specific game, and if you dabble in another game, a lot of times that is where at Evo you'll play a bunch. You'll just kind of say, I played a little bit of PlayStation All-Stars this year, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump in. So you kind of see, I think those are the main two demographics, aside from just like the hardened veterans that are practicing whatever specific game, like a guy like me that's just going to enter 2 or 3 games that I'm really concentrating on.
Right.
Yeah. I know. Actually, I wanted to go to Evo last year just for the Tatsunoko versus Capcom side event, but a lot of people, or at least we're working on a few projects that try and help that transition. Like you said, the people who aren't familiar with competitive Melee can kind of pick it up. Any tips for anything like that? I know we currently have a couple of East Coast mainstays in Bum, D1, and Alucard. Ford on the West Coast said he would be willing, as well as Falcon Mist, all who are former Melee players. And also Chris G said both he and Noel Brown might be interested in doing that as well. So any tips for perhaps opening eyes to a red-headed little brother, so to speak?
I think you just need to play Street Fighter and get on forums like Shuriken.com. Get online.
Okay, my friend.
Get online, play some games, but find a local scene. find one or two guys that you can play some games with. Most of the best players in Street Fighter games have come from densely populated metropolitan areas, but I mean, even just the combination of an infiltration and laugh was able to basically take on the world. So I
Yeah.
really think, I mean, if you guys you've apparently been able to do it with Melee, right? There's no online play there, so maybe get one of your buddies to pick a character or two, and you pick a character or two, and just start to figure the game out. Find one guy that plays your character and just X copy the hell out of him, like the absolute hell out of him, like steal everything, right? And then just keep doing it. And then when you do, and the other guy that you're doing it against is forced to adapt to it, then you'll figure out why that guy is doing it and when you have to change it up and everything. But I think
Right.
that's like the best way to approach any fighting game. And since there's so many videos out there, like that's what I did with Smash Brothers, and that's what I do with Street Fighter.
And for those of you that don't get the reference to Infiltration and Laugh, I believe they both finished, what, top 8 this last year at EVO?
Laugh did
Both from
not.
Korea?
Laugh did not, but Infiltration. Laugh not in Street Fighter 4, but Infiltration won Street Fighter 4, but they,
Right.
in teams, won Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Okay.
And then Infiltration also won the 25th anniversary Street Fighter 4 tournament. And
Right.
Laugh was also qualified in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I think, there. And Infiltration won Street Fighter Cross Tekken there as well. So he won the two biggest Street Fighter 4 tournaments of the year and the two biggest Street Fighter 4 tournaments of the year. And Infiltration was there with him in both of them.
Cool. Hey, so I don't want to take too much of your time. It was really awesome having you on. Do you want to stick around for a little bit more? You got to go. What do you think?
I still have time. Are you gonna like troll me yet? Cause
No, man, we're all cool dudes. We're all the homies,
Yeah.
dude.
I just actually
Alright.
wanted to ask you one quick question.
I have one quick question too, but you can go first, Sheridan.
All right.
'cause you
Yeah.
took the
So
cat
I mean,
picture.
historically, there's been like a little bit of friction between the Smash community and the fighting game community. So I wondered if you had any advice about like, if Smash gets to Evo, how to interact, how our communities can interact with one another and try to get along a little bit better.
By the way, Sheridan, you just stole my question, dude. Like straight up
You know-
jacked it from my brain.
I was talking with some people this weekend, and I thought it was a little strange that when people would approach us, they would say, I play Smash, and then they would talk about the FGC, like separately, like you guys do. And I thought that you guys were like, well, our game is a fighting game, so if your game is a fighting game and you go to tournaments and everything, then you may as well at least call yourselves the FGC and consider yourselves a part of the whole and don't really feel so timid. And I would just say kind of take pride in what you do, man. Your Melee is hype. You guys will put in time and your game has depth and everything. So just, do that and like own it, because it's not like nobody's gonna sit down and really play any Melee with you at Evo. So right, like like almost nobody that doesn't play Melee, like Justin Wong, he might play like a game or two, and
Yeah.
or like me, or like he's just Mr. Wiz, they might play like a game or two, but we're not really playing. But
Totally.
like I said, those people that are just entering Street Fighter 4 and expecting to go in 2, they'll play Melee and all, but you can still, but when you play your game, get excited and have fun and, just like let loose. This Vegas, like get hype and, make people experience what you experience, and people will walk over and at least watch and then, get them into your game. I think that's what you guys want with your game being exhibited on the biggest stage. That's what it sounds like.
So walking down further down that path, so I have a couple of thoughts. One is I wonder how. So to me, someone who's extremely uneducated with regards to fighting games, right? Like I played Third Strike a good bit, Street Fighter 2 when I was a kid, right? But Fireball, Shoryuken's about all I know. and I can't play on a stick because it's way too hard, dude. The controller's so much better. It seems to me that the skills in most 2D fighters are more transferable than say jumping from Street Fighter to Melee, right? And I think that that might be the reason why we haven't considered ourselves FGC. We have, maybe it's just me, guys correct me if I'm wrong, but there's sort of a perception that there's a lot of similar mechanics in most 2D fighters, and the 2D fighting community can easily switch from game to game, or more easily than they could from one of those games of Melee, and that's what makes them more of a cohesive community and us sort of on the outside. Would you agree with that, or, you know, do you have any comments on that?
Repeat the last part, please. I was tweeting your show. Yeah.
It's all good. Yeah, it's just like...
I'm sorry, I'm a total jerk, but it was for you.
No.
It was Bobby Scar, so one more time.
Yeah, so it just, the sort of two-line recap is like, there's less of a difference in my mind between, say, like Melty Blood and Street Fighter 4 than there is from one of those games to Melee. And so that may be why we consider the FGC to be all the people who play those games and play multiple games, whereas we just kind of play Melee. There's some people who play Melee and Brawl, but Smash is kind of Smash. Do you know what I mean? But we are a fighting game, so I think it is even tough for me to sort of reconcile.
It is definitely different, and I guess there's not necessarily a lot of back and forth. There's not a lot of players that I think have gone like 2-1 from the other. I know a few, but there are still a lot of shared concepts and thought processes and stuff. Like, I can relate Smash Brothers to Street Fighter 4 a lot easier than I can relate Street Fighter 4 to StarCraft. I can do both. If you really want me to, it's going to be obtuse, but it's not very hard with Street Fighter and Smash Brothers, you know?
Yeah, okay, that sounds awesome. And Prague was even talking about this, like something that we really want to do, considering that we have this opportunity to be on the EVO main stage. We would love to make like a short video that helps people who are used to 2D fighters bridge the gap, you know, sort of translate the 2D fighter skills and sort of game mechanics into comparable ones in Melee. So that's something that we're definitely interested in doing, and I'd love to hear thoughts from FGC or 2D fighter game players about, you know, what are the biggest bridges that we need to cross.
You guys are going in so hard right now.
Dude, we're crazy right now.
Like, what the hell?
We're crazy right now.
You guys could collect all this money and just have like your own big ass tournament.
We have it. Our community is huge, dude, and we're all super passionate about this game. Do you know what I mean?
Just say like, yo, we want to have a tournament. Let's all donate mad money, because it seems like everybody will do it. And like, you can have the biggest tournament wherever you want. Buy an island and be like, boom, Smashboards is buying an island, hook it up, throw down, we throwing down, and I think you could do it.
Sponsored by Megabus.
But we can't get that Evo exposure. We can't get those tens of thousands of people.
You could buy an island.
But wait a minute. Yeah, that is his second great idea, right? Melee it upon me, and let's just buy an island, dude.
Dude, you could do
the Melee
crazy.
Haven. We can build like a Pokeball-shaped building, you know?
Oh my God! Never mind. This is not my idea anymore. This is
you lost me.
Well, all right, fine. Smash ball.
No longer a part of this.
Okay, fine.
No
Yeah, divorce inside, yeah.
Anyway,
If
yeah,
it's a
we are
Smash ball
going
now.
pretty hard. Happy that you noticed it. We're trying to organize like way more, and if there's anything that I think that we as communities can really learn from each other, it's sort of like tournament organization, right? Your best practices on how to run a fantastic tournament is something that I think is super valuable to us, because it's not, you know, it has much less to do with the game, and you know, how to generate hype, how to have like, you know, a strong community. Those are all things that I think that we can learn from each other. So we're just starting, I think, to organize on like a sort of next level. And yeah, I super look forward to talking to you guys more.
FGC tournaments, best in the world, baby. I think that we run the biggest tournaments in the like smallest amount of time relative to pretty much anything, like almost anything, with stuff like, especially with things like Evo. You know what I mean? It's kind of ridiculous the scale that has grown out of this scene in the last 10 years.
fantastic. I think that's a pretty good note to leave on. Anybody? Sheridan? Prague?
I just want to say we should
go
also
ahead.
encourage if we get Smash there, I think we should definitely encourage the people that come for Smash to try to enter another fighting game too. I know if they have Super Turbo, I'm definitely going in for that.
Sick. Dude, I'm going to
Yeah.
cheer for you.
I mean, I play Guy in Arcade Edition, so I'm ready to go 2 and out. But I live in the same neighborhood as Next Level. I do go down there occasionally.
Oh, no, you got to be kidding me.
Ha 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 ha!
There's no way there's a fire alarm going on.
Fire alarm right now in your dorm.
Is it really
Time
loud?
to get out.
Is it really loud? Is this loud right now?
It's not extremely loud.
Oh my God! Some
should I
D-bag does
go
not
down
know
with the
how
ship,
to make
dude?
noodles.
Should I just go down with the ship?
Nah,
Should I-
you
Yeah,
gotta
dude.
dip.
You remember the guy in Titanic? He just closes the door. He's like, "Fuck it, man."
Nah, just run and leave the stream on. I
Come
got
on.
this.
This is
This is
horrible.
my stream now.
I think so.
It's
Sophie
probably
could
time
scout
for our
for you.
break anyway.
She's not even
Yo.
here, dude. I'm like about to
shit.
set on fire.
Oh my God! I know exactly that noise, man. Some D-bag is like, "Oh, I was grilling cheese and then I fell asleep." It's pretty bad.
It's
It's
fun.
not gonna end, man. This is terrible.
I have no idea what to do.
Chill, bro.
I'm like
Time
actually.
for
Are you
break.
near a window?
Yeah.
How
but
many
it's
floors
like
up
I'm
are you?
6 stories up, dude. I'm just gonna die.
Nah,
You
you
got
know
this.
Omar made it. Omar made
Dude,
it. You
Omar.
can make it.
Omar. All right, I'm gonna mute the mic and check if the building's on fire.
All right.
Dude.
Excuse Sonic. You're awesome.
This guy. Wow, man. See, you gotta just dip, dude. I know what it's like
Oh
doing
my
podcast.
god! I took my
dorm
headphones off and it like destroyed my ears. This is like protecting me, dude. That was
Dude.
horrible.
You gotta just go, man. You gotta get on Skype on your
man.
phone outside. Call yourself on an
Dude,
alternate account.
Sheridan, do you and Prague want to take over the discussion with AZ? I know I had a ton to say to him, right? So
Yeah.
maybe I should be there for
Sure.
that. Do you want to pull Tefkins on or something?
Just go check real quick, bro. Just go check if your
Alright,
shit's
alright,
on fire.
All right.
Be right back.
I'll be right back. If it's
All
gonna
right.
hurt my ears, God,
Sucks.
this sucks. I'm in such a terrible situation.
Just get it over
dude.
with,
All right,
man.
all
Just
right,
get
all
it
right,
over
bye.
with.
Bye.
Man.
But anyway, like I was saying, I actually live in about a mile from Next Level Arcade, and I do stop by to play my really bad Nova squad or play a guy in AE, and just try and raise awareness as well, because it's all about the love for the game, no matter what game you put in. And that's why I also want to give a big shout out to all the other games that are in that running for the A spot, because it's all about what you want to expose your community for its good parts. So definitely shouts to everyone, especially the Skullgirls community.
Yeah,
They've shown a lot of
definitely.
love for that game. So,
you could give shout outs to them and say, "So long, man. You guys just ran out in front of them like, see you later." This is ridiculous. How do you do that in 1 hour? This is nuts.
it's all about stopping breast cancer, man. That's what it's about. If we get to Evo, it's a nice number 2. But hey, if I can't get my grandmother back, this might make me feel a little bit better.
That sounds honorable.
So I'm
That's
back.
honorable. Yeah.
What's the story?
You're gonna-
You
So
living?
I ran out the door, had my ears covered, right? So it's like kind of like a scene from Die Hard. And I went out like the exit, but of course I can't close the door or else I'm locked out. So I took a shoe off, really smart, and barricaded the door open, and then yelled down to all the survivors on the ground, "Is this building on fire?" And then I think one of like the RAs was like, "No, it's just a drill, but you need to come down." And then I told her that I'm raising money for breast cancer, and then I clarified and said that like, well, breast cancer like prevention, but whatever. I don't think anybody was amused at all. And she was just like, "You need to come down," and I was like, "All right, I'm coming." And I'm
Okay.
here.
No. You're not coming though, right?
Oh no, absolutely not, dude. This is so much more important.
You're in your girlfriend's apartment right now?
I am dating
Dorm?
a senior at Stanford, and I am in like couples without children housing.
Couples without children housing.
Yeah.
So you live there,
So she works at. Yeah, I live here. We share the rent or whatever.
but you don't go to Stanford.
I do not. I am 26.
So she can't do anything to you.
Oh no. Hell no.
You could be 26 and go to Stanford. You might just be like,
I
hello,
yelled at her that I'm
stuff.
raising money for breast cancer, so I mean.
Yeah. I mean, everybody. I mean, breast cancer needs money just like everybody else.
Yeah. So anyway, no, they can't do anything to me.
Yeah, she can't like dock you any grades or like, I don't even know what do RAs do. They just kick you out for like smoking weed.
Yeah, dude, that was
So-
actually the only the only thing that my RA did back in college.
Are we allowed to talk about these things on this podcast? You guys
No.
didn't tell me anything. I don't even know like what the audience is. Like we could be podcasting to babies right now, and I'm talking about the most baby inappropriate stuff. You gotta give me the primers of these things.
Dude,
Do I have to teach you guys how to podcast? I don't want to teach you guys how to podcast.
Can you teach me how to podcast? Can we have that conversation like tomorrow?
Oh my god. Maybe.
All right, I'm gonna take that as yes. Thank you so much, Ski, for being on the show. I super enjoyed having you on, and dude,
That
if we
is-
hopefully we could chill at Evo and get you back on maybe after that or something like that.
Okay. That
All right,
sounds
dude.
awesome. Just like that noise behind you.
It's
Oh,
gone.
stop.
It stopped. Wow, it's great news. Do you have any shout-outs that you want to give before you make your grand exit?
Shout outs to Keats, who always holds me down and has my back.
That's a dive kick.
Keats.
Dive
And
kick.
yeah, don't forget about dive kick. It seems like you guys have kicked the dive out of it in this competition, but it'll still be at Evo, and I think everybody will enjoy it. Everybody that loves fighting games, Smash Brothers, Street Fighter, anything. Shouts out to Shoryuken.com, everybody that ever listens to my podcast, Wake Up Shoryuken, and gives me any love on commentary. Thank you, I love it. And I'm just gonna keep trying to do my best, and hope to see you guys at whatever the next tournament is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks again,
Thanks
dude.
a lot, man. It was great.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Thank you for being here.
Boom! What a conversation. I lived through a burning building. We have a new proposal for a name for our podcast. This is all great. Okay, so time for our next guest. I'm going to see if Alpha Zealot, the man who bought Smashboards, will come on and have a chat with us. And before that, I'm going to do the
Do a refresh?
725. Okay, like in 1 minute.
Shoutouts
The
to
725 refresh. So let's go to full screen. Let us go to. Okay, so it didn't refresh. 7,810. Is that what it was?
Sure.
Yeah, 7,810. So now, drum roll. Oh my God! We went up another cool gee whiz to $8,725.
She.
Wow! Which is almost $5,000 in an hour and 25 minutes. And with the match, okay, so we don't know what Sheridan's going to put in, but with the match, by tomorrow morning, we should be at about $12,500. Boom!
Cancer is done.
We just destroyed it, dude. It's gone. Thanks for
Jokes.
playing.
Oh yeah, that's a grad student's freaking salary for a whole year, man. Let me tell you,
Oh, yeah. Wow.
it's looking good.
All right, so it is AZ time. He is ready. AZ, feel free to accept with video. And he has a smash ball. Wait, is that the Smashboard symbol? AZ,
That
you're on
is.
the show. Welcome to Melee It On Me episode 4, where we have just destroyed breast cancer.
Let's show my face here.
Mute your stream on your computer. BT.
Oh, I need to turn that off. Alright,
Oh,
that's
I-
gone.
How's it going,
Greetings,
man?
AZ.
How you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Splendid.
I feel so amazing.
Am I coming through alright?
Perfectly.
Great, great. I know you probably, Scar, I listened in a little bit last week, have questions for me. I'll try and answer what I can.
Yeah, and thanks so much for coming on. Is it like it's 10:30 where you are, right?
Yeah, no, 7:30. I'm Pacific time.
Whoa,
Yeah, I'm in Bellevue, Washington now. Moved for
Okay,
dude,
cool.
awesome. So yeah, we had we just been chit chatting about Smashboards. You have some recent competition. You made a gigantic acquisition of basically the destination site for everyone in the community that we care about, and the majority of what we've discussed is just basically like where are we going with this thing. Um, you know, Facebook's around and they're helping us be a tight community right now too. And then there's that tension between do we go to Facebook, do we go to Smashboards? TO is kind of a separate entity and there's no real integration. Smash 4U is trying to, connect a bunch of these.
How are your chips, Prog?
Yeah, thanks for making a ton of
Pettygrams, my
noise.
friend. Pettygrams.
So yeah, it's basically just like we're in this situation, right? And we're looking for, we want to know what the future has in store for us. And I think ultimately what I care about, maybe not everybody, but I want to know how I can help.
Right, right. Very good questions. The first thing is my goal with Smashboards is to sort of give the community what they want and what they need. The boards have been sort of stagnant since probably 2009 or so when we did the last refresh. And, because of certain situations over the last couple of years, we haven't really been able to do much with the boards sort of on the back end of it. And now that I sort of own them, I can kind of give the freedom to the people who I know are passionate about it and I know have ideas.
Yeah.
Our next phase is actually to switch to a new forum. We're looking to go to Zenforo. The big question is if we lose anything. The big thing we gain is that search should be fixed, finally.
Yes.
One of the big problems with the server move was that search broke. And in order to fix it would require something like a 50 hours of downtime to rebuild some database. And
How else are you gonna name search, Bobby? I mean, shit.
Dude, I knew the very first day. I just logged in. It was like you're on a new server. I went search Scar, and it was like, oh, we didn't find anything. And I was
Right.
like,
So,
I'm not sure if that's right.
It's everyone loves name search, so obviously it's a top priority to try and get that fixed. It's looking like when we upgrade to whatever the next thing is, likely Zenforo, that the fix or whatever we need to do would only take about a half hour. So like that's sort of why we're going to have to wait to fix search. And in that light, though, we will be upgrading hopefully in about 2, maybe 3 weeks. After that, we're working on a front page. We already have a wireframe made, but there's not a lot of money, so I can't hire some guy at a couple $1,000s to program it.
Right.
So the goal would be to reach out to the community, work with. I mean, we've got some very great guys in the community who can do a lot of things. So the idea would be setting up sort of a staging site and having some sort of dev group on Smashboards. Work off that wireframe, try and set up a CMS, improve the GUI however we can, and sort of build in any features that may be missing already or that we've overlooked, although we've already had the Senate, which is a good 10 plus people, eye the wireframe and give their input about what is needed. Long term, the goal is to sort of highlight the community efforts, which to me is sort of multifaceted. It's the live streams, it's the tournaments, and it's the players, and it's sort of the amazing content that can get created, like 2012 Year in Review.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's super awesome. I love to hear that we're going to leverage the resources that we have, and I know that we have a ton of talented people in our community, and I think that a lot of people are super willing to work for free, or for very little money. As you can see, we just gave a ton of money to breast cancer to support this. No, we didn't. We gave it to breast cancer
Actually,
research.
on that note, we just put live about 5 minutes ago. Bio pushed this up on the front page of Smashboards. Actually, a notice to donate to that thread. I'll also be donating $100 on Smashboards' behalf.
Hey, the homies! Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Right. So we'll try and push that because I do think Melee should be an Evo. I was in Evo at 2009 when we worked with All Is Brawl to do a sort of side event for Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and it pulled in 120 people, which is like not bad, but got like no hype whatsoever, no live stream coverage. And that was like Evo's first huge breakout year with live streams and like this professional look. I think Ski Sonic mentioned how 2008 was like the last sort of grassroots field year. So,
So I have. Do you guys want to take it away, or shall I ask my follow-up questions?
Go for it, Bobby.
Okay, so I have two, and I don't want to hold your feet too close to the fire, right? But I do have some serious questions, right? So I like the idea of having a dev environment where people can take a look at the wireframe and potentially help you out. Is there any reason why we can't just show everybody what's up? Do you know what I mean? Like we have a small enough community that I almost feel like the more people who look, right? There's certain people whose comments you might not take seriously, right? I mean, the customer generally doesn't know what they want. And you can have the people that you trust make comments that you trust. But I wonder what the problem is with just sharing stuff with everybody. Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't say there's a problem per se.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to be actually very open with like the whole process, but you got to take it sort of in steps because if you're not, and you trust something or something doesn't come out right. Ultimately, it's not a marathon, or it's not like a what's the expression,
Dash,
right?
a sprint.
Sprint.
Right, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Although I do have benchmarks I want to meet, and the whole goal is to have, when everything's said and done, basically by roughly goal, March, April, that the community will be looking at a completely new website. And if I missed that by a month, or we missed that by a month or two, we'd still be in some pretty good shape because I'm hoping before sort of Smash news rolls out, and sort of before the summer tournament season starts, that we can have a whole new type of interface and content for the community to showcase sort of like mainly the tournaments that are happening, because that's the biggest thing I think Smashboards and the Smash community does really well are the number of tournaments we have. Melee and Brawl combined, they hold like something like 700 or 800 tournaments a year. It's insane.
Wow.
You won't find that in other communities, even these huge other fighting game communities. They're not actually holding quite as many tournaments as we do. And Melee in particular is awesome. Like those year in reviews, if you look through it, you can see like the death of Melee for like 3 months in 2008, right after Brawl came out, and then this huge resurgence in 2009, and it's just been getting even stronger ever since.
Revival.
It's really cool to see that too.
ROM 1, dude. ROM 1.
Right. What Smashboards can do for that, though, is point a spotlight towards those community efforts. Now, as for not pushing a wireframe out to the community to look at it, might be able to do it. I would say that decision, there has to be something to show before we can.
Of course.
So I would actually say that my first goal has been met already, which was to get us off of MLG servers. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, give us a little bit of break. That happened only a week ago.
No. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not trying to say that you're not doing a good job. So on the last podcast, I mentioned a ton of times that you just bought the site, right? So recently,
Right.
and it was during the holidays, and nobody really has time during the holidays anyway. And also, we're sure that there's so much to be done. So yeah, the biggest worry for me was that as well as anybody how big of a black box MLG was when they owned Smashboards, right? And there was like no visibility. You couldn't contact anybody in MLG. We had no idea what they were doing, if they cared, so on and so forth. And so my point was just more like we want to know what the direction is, and that the people who are currently in power are available and they are part of our community, right? So. On a related note, Pac-Man said that he had a great comment in the chat where he just said, like, if you push something out, like a whole new site in April or May, it's possible that you may not have captured like the demands of the community. You know what I mean? It could be perfect, but it could be perfect to a specific audience, but maybe not your target audience. And so, you don't. Pac-Man says he never said that. You don't need to show like a beautiful wireframe right away. It's just like a drawing on a whiteboard, right? Where we can just kind of see what the idea is. Some people might have great ideas like we want the stream section to be different or whatever. We want it to be more visible. We want it to be less visible. Those kinds of things can help you iterate and get to a place where we can look at things side by side. Kind of do like some A/B tests and say this is definitely the best layout. Like after a few different tries of like just sketches on a whiteboard.
Right. Well, actually, I'm not against the idea. I'll relay it to person who's designing the site, and we'll see what she says. If she's ready to push a design that is unfinished, but at the same time, that gives us the option for public feedback on it, which is never really a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing that can happen is we push something live and everyone hates it.
Right, and isn't that phenomenal? Like, what if she's going down the wrong path? I trust her, but at the same time,
but the big thing with understanding what a wireframe is that it's not the graphical aspect of a site; it's the layout, where content, what content goes where, that sort of thing.
Yes.
And then the graphic touch actually takes a fair amount of time after the wireframe is produced to come alive. But with a wireframe, you can at least start getting dev and people, working on it because you know where and what content is needed. So, in that light, okay, yeah,
Yeah. No,
I will talk about it. I'm not against it.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. And I have one more big question.
Sure.
Okay, so we were talking to Bionic last time, and he was a fantastic guest on the show. And something that he mentioned was sort of the hierarchy, right? So you bought Smashboards, and there is a Smash Senate. And then there's Bionic, right? And he's the only developer. And I'm under the impression that there's like maybe 10 or more senators. So, I just, I don't want to ask the wrong question, but it doesn't seem like the most efficient way to sort of get things done, right? It seems like that kind of structure would definitely promote a lot of debate and maybe a lot of rework and a real bottleneck for the person who's actually doing the development work. So I'm just wondering if that's an accurate depiction of the hierarchy. If you think that it's working out, if you can shed some light on what it takes to become a senator, or whether they're actually members of the community. You know what I mean? Like I don't necessarily know who they are, so on and so forth.
Right. I see your concern. I guess I'll preface this by saying that the Senate and development, in my mind, would be separate aspects.
Yeah.
Bionic has been a huge asset to the Smash community, and I mean the community as a whole. I mean, Smashboards, absolutely, yes, but also the broader community, the work he has done, I cannot speak more highly of him. Really, it's quite incredible.
Shout-outs Bionic. As for promotion, dude, he just gave away all his cards. Oh!
It's in the chat. He said,
You could be super lead developer. Chief developing officer.
So my goal, I guess, as and it's weird to say, I guess, webmaster or whatever, would be to sort of whatever chains had been on people in the past, try and remove those. That would include giving Bionic sort of the access that he's always wanted, but that is not to say I wouldn't give it to other people. The goal would be, again, we'd get a group of developers working together.
Yeah.
To work on something. I mean, there are some things that I think are good to work together. Programming is one of those things. I don't know what sort of background any of you guys have with programming, but it is always a team effort to program anything. And even the way programming works, object-oriented programming, it's always about taking one large task and breaking it down. On the flip side, design, while input is needed from people, I always view sort of graphic design as a singularity. A single person needs to be producing a graphic design because design by committee creates disgusting things. So the goal is, would have a wireframe and probably now, I guess, build in public input on that wireframe. Just make sure we're not missing anything. push that wireframe to developers, and then a group of developers can work on it together, and they'd have certain access to the back end of Smashboards that was not possible in the years past. And then, I guess, work from there. The hierarchy of the Senate, it is a little weird. There's no other way to say it, but at the same time, it's sort of like aggregated over the years. A lot of the people who have done some great things for the community, and they're not. Most people probably don't even know who the senator names are, and I can't name them all off the top of my head. So I'm going to pull up a list actually, and we'll just throw some names out there.
Sweet.
Do you have any idea who's in the Senate at all?
I have no clue, man. I remember I was sitting around with some homies talking about the senators, and we were like, "Wait, they're senators?" And I was
think
like,
I could take a guess.
"Gimme, hang on, we got to hear."
I think the list actually does exist.
Is Kirby King?
Dude,
one?
Pac-Man's killing it. Is Mark one? Mark, Verge, Mike. Who else did he post? Oh wow, somebody's deleting all Pac-Man's messages. Boo. Wow, he was banned. It's probably Lovage. Sorry,
All right,
sorry, Pac-Man.
I'm going to read off the list. Eyesight, who is Ankoku. You guys probably remember him. He still posts a lot all over the Smash scene. He's been great. He's sort of revived, actually, Vegas' Smash scene.
Yep.
Bionic, obviously. Crimson King, Hilt, Jungle, Evil Eye, Exart, Hylian, Ishimuro. Mark is huge. He has been doing a lot of work with our back rooms, and it's kind of, I know he's been wanting to do a lot of revamps there, and I more or less said, do whatever you want, because stop asking. Just do it. Mediocre, Mick128, who's been, he was like a super mod or something when I first joined Smashboards.
Yeah, he's been around forever.
I was back in like 2003.
Were those two separate guys, or is one of them named Mediocre?
Mediocre,
yeah.
Because it sounded like you said, like, mediocre, and then named the guy, and it was like, he's mediocre.
Yeah,
so, like, whoa.
Right, and some of these guys I've known longer than others, and I'm more familiar with the work they've done over others. So I'm not. Everyone in this group has at some point done something huge or been working really hard and really cares about the community. Omni's in there, Virgilis, Dazwa, Zivi.
Whoa, Daz was a senator?
Yeah.
Holy crap, man.
Right, yeah, so if you complain, that you don't have access, just hit up Dazwa.
Yeah, I will. He'll be my go-to guy
I got the
from now on.
connections right
What's up,
there.
Dazwa? I see he's in the chat. Yeah, so I mean, but that list kind of, went on, and of course, people have done great things for the community over, a long period of time, and we're all sort of standing on the shoulders of the people who have been in the community since the beginning. And, of course I respect that, and I'm super happy about it. That said, it does make me a bit nervous to hear that long list of names and not necessarily know what these kinds of, what you discuss, so on and so forth. So, but
right.
But as far as moving off the MLG servers, you did it quickly, and as far as the direction that you're going, it sounds like you really want to be addressing the needs of the community, and that's really, I think, all we want to hear.
Right. Well, that's the big thing, and I mean, frankly, with the server move, it could have happened quicker, but there's been a lot of. I wanted to make sure we got something that worked. I don't know if you've seen him post at all. He's posting under the Temple host. They have been huge for us. The guy who's specifically been helping is named Paul. I don't even know what we would have done without him. It's been super great, but we only get something that good with having done a lot of research. So, a lot went into the server move. It couldn't be, I bought the site day 2, buy server. No, it took a little bit of research, and I'm also trying to go about it in like a cross your T's, dot your I type of thing. So I'm, formed a business in order to like house Smashboards and, just sort of do things the way it should be done. Really, because of that, though, it sometimes might take an extra week or two to do something.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to, especially before I say spend money on a server, would like to make sure I'm doing the right thing. And if something doesn't work out, well, hopefully, eventually we'll have backup plans. Right now, but that's
You
why
got this.
that's why I went with 2 dedicated servers, though, because I think so far things have gone okay. But I mean, I've been posting updates roughly every week. So if anyone that's listening now has something and we haven't addressed it, I mean, the threads are right there on Smashboards, right in the announcements, asking for feedback all the time. Pipe up,
Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. And any sort of way that we can more enable people to give their feedback, I think would go a long way, right? Because I never knew about the announcements until I talked to Bionic. I mean, I know that they're like right there, right? But I mean, the way I use the boards is I name search and I subscribe to threads. So maybe that's not the best way to do it, and I'm sure that I have to learn how to use forums better. But that's how I reached the posts that I have put, and it's one of those things where even having you on the show has been great. And so long as there's continued confidence that we're working together towards the same goal, we'll all be happy. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, there's a lot into it. One big thing I'd like to stress is that this process won't be perfect either. I mean, I'm going to make mistakes. I've never been a webmaster before. I'm taking advice from wherever I can get it. I've even reached out to like Mr. Wizard for any help he could possibly give. And people like Bionic in the community have been great too to offering help wherever they can. So, I mean, ultimately, Smashboards is not run by one person. It sort of is a community effort, even to keep the site going. And ultimately, I'd like that to be a reflection as you guys start to see how the site will transform over the next 3 to 6 months. I'd like it to be apparent that the site is a reflection of the community effort that goes into producing it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That's awesome. Super happy to hear that.
Yeah.
The only thing that would make me upset, though, seriously, this is all the stream viewers will hear. This is from me to you, right? Like I said, with like getting feedback, the only thing that would upset me, I don't think that you could fail in my eyes, so long as you're trying to meet the needs of the community, right? But if you invested like way too much time, like 6 months, for example, developing a wireframe, so on and so forth, and it didn't meet like certain basic needs of the community, then I would be upset, right? Because we all are. It would be in my mind like super easy to find out from at least different community leaders what they really want to see, and yeah, just so long as there's communication with those people and making sure that you're really serving the needs of the community, that's really all we need. So even in the chat, there's tons of people talking about integration with TO, integration with Super Smash Brothers player database. I've seen like 5 or 6 of those pop up. So we don't know if that's something that I don't know if that's something that everybody wants, but it's something that some people want. So,
Right. Actually, that's an interesting one, though. For years, I have been wanting some sort of direct integration with TO. In particular, I would love to see TO immediately cross-link, names in a tournament file to Smashboards or whatever.
Oh my God!
Right.
That would be sick.
And
Oh my
calculate a link,
God!
right? And that's displayed as part of your profile. Now, what would actually go into the development of that, though?
A lot.
Talking a 3-month endeavor here, and I don't even know if Neo would be interested in that because ultimately that's a direct interface of Smashboards. But from what I've seen, they're sort of opening TO up to a broader platform, which might bring some new possibilities. Believe me, I'm all for it, although I do think there's something to be said for sort of the power rankings we have now.
Yeah.
I love power rankings. They're done by committee, and they're sometimes popular choice and biased, but gosh, they're fun to talk about, right?
Yeah, I think PRs are awesome, and we're actually going to talk about that in later episodes.
Right.
They can be super, super awesome.
So, like, actually, just speaking broadly, the current plan now would be more to highlight sort of our rankings would be to highlight those power rankings and other things that are actually community produced, because the time that would go into programming something like a TO interface that links to your Smashboards name, and then say Elo ranks you based on how you went through a tournament, is far more time sensitive. And ultimately, actually, you look at something like NCAA and how they determine national championship games. They take human polls into account just as much as they do computers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a toss-up which one is actually better, because something is lost when you take out the human factor and what goes into rankings.
I definitely agree with that.
Sick with it. Sick with it. All right. Hey, man. Thanks, AZ, so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I'm sure that the chat and the community appreciates hearing from you, and I'd love to stay in contact. You're welcome on the show whenever.
Yeah.
So follow this man on
Bobby
Twitter.
asked pretty much every question that I could ever conceive of to ask you, and I'm just really it's great to hear all your responses.
Yep.
I'm really happy to see that you're very open to suggestions and really committed to making all these improvements. So I really look forward to the future of Smashboards.
Plus 10.
Things on the horizon.
Cool. Well, thank you all very much. By the way, Scar, remember when we met at Genesis?
Genesis 1?
Yep.
What we met at FC Diamond, actually. So,
There's-
boom.
Oh, gosh.
Boom!
Oh,
You
you
try
were
to put me on
years-
blast? Boom!
I still think FC Diamond was my favorite tournament of all.
I say that every time I talk about it, by the way. If anybody
Oh,
forgot, I was at Genesis. I did go. This is a reverse. I didn't pay for this. I did earn it. Boom! Here's Scar.
Right. I see it. Well done.
Thank you.
Genesis was also a sweet tournament. I mean, the photo on Smashboards' Facebook was one I had taken from that tournament during Melee Finals, I think it was, and it was,
The best.
Armada just going crazy right after that turnip kill. I couldn't. And when you say the turnip kill, everyone knows what you're talking about, which is the awesome thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
All right,
God.
AZ. Thanks again, man.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you soon. Consider this your platform. You heard?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever want to talk to face to face with everyone, the door's open.
Totally.
Well, by the way, I mean, part of what we're hoping to do is spotlight things like this.
Yeah.
Long term. Although, if you guys could also figure out how to get this on iTunes.
Yeah, I know. I know. But yeah, tell me about it. We actually have had several initiatives that we have taken through to execution. So we're doing the podcast, and we would love more attention to it. We did that fight night at Campbell, and I worked with several of the Smashboard staff, like Omni. He's been great about putting news up. Bionic's been great about hosting the streams. But yeah, any additional support would be phenomenal to spotlight community initiatives. We would love it so much.
Right. Yeah, that the site is built only, right now our news section is just about the only thing that can handle it. But long-term goal is to build towards exactly what you're hoping for, I think. So let's just cross our fingers that we don't hit any huge roadblocks coming in the next couple weeks and months ahead. That said, what you guys done tonight or have done for the last 2 hours now?
2 hours.
Donation. You've raised how much?
All right, you asked for it. Let's find out. Oh, I was looking at the skull. We were at $8,725.
All right.
All right. that's it.
Another like 600. Oh, what 9,000?
Right. I'm gonna throw in 100 right
bucks.
after I get off here, and we're gonna have the link up on Smashboards for 13 more days.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you.
So
much.
with any luck, we're gonna leave all these other games in the dust. But really, what this is all about is raising money, obviously, for
Yes.
cancer research, and ultimately there are no losers. I think at this point. So even if it doesn't work out with Melee, I think we'll have done something great. So, and a lot of that goes to what you guys have done in the last hour and a half, 2 hours, raising $5,000. That's awesome.
5,599 actually.
Oh, Yeah. Well, and you have to match it still too. Gosh.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
after the match, I actually have a running total. After the match, we're going to be at about $13,100. So,
And then I think Ankuku has the record so far. He put in 336, so that's what I'm matching.
all right, man. So yeah, you covered Habs, so it's a little bit more than 13,171. Wow, sick. All right.
All right.
Thank you again, AZ, and
Yes.
Yeah.
And don't hesitate to reach out if you guys need anything or feel like the needs of the community are not being met. Feel free to chime in. I have been reading Smashboards every day, probably a couple hours a day for almost 10 years now. So I'll see it, especially once name search gets fixed.
oh, hell yeah, can't wait. All right, thanks again, man.
Yep.
Be in touch.
Take care, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Bye bye.
See ya.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout outs again. Thanks so much, AZ. So, hey, man, we've been going for 2 hours. I'm getting kind of tired.
Yeah, the only thing left I think we could talk about is
Is it this thing here, Scar? Is it this?
All right, I'll tell the story. Okay. So, actually, AZ just mentioned Genesis 1. I showed you guys a souvenir that I got from Antioch, California, back in 2009. And so, yeah, I just wanted to talk about Genesis. We all want to talk about Genesis. Genesis has been one of the top tournaments of Melee since its inception in 2009. So we've had 2 so far, Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. Bobak is actually in the chat right now, so if you have any questions about Genesis, you can direct them to him. But thanks, Prague. But yeah, so right now there's a tentative date. Sheridan, actually, can you hook me up with the tentative date?
no.
Do you know what month it's in?
Well,
July?
that's when Evo is.
Yeah.
But we are still working out how we want to work around the Evo dates
Yeah.
for the tournament, especially now that it's looking like Melee is going to get into Evo. Because if we put it too close, we don't want to drain. We think everybody's going to go to Evo, so we're not sure, what the correct kind of sequence of events is
Yeah.
to do this. So,
Why
yeah.
don't can we do like a quick vote in the chat? We actually have over 300 people in the chat. Guys, I'm going to ask you a quick question, and I'm very curious as to what you're going to say. So, Evo and Genesis are like, right now, the tentative date is maybe a week apart. So, consider, if you were to go to Evo, would you rather have, 2 to 3 months to chill, calm down, and not, like, kill yourself? Or do you think it would be sick nasty to have 2 tournaments, both on the West Coast, with, like, basically a maybe $150 flight from Vegas to NorCal, back to back? Give me 1 for you would like it to be 2 to 3 months apart. Give me 2 for back to back. We got a bunch of B2B. 2, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1, 1. A lot of 1s.
It's looking pretty even.
I'm seeing a lot of 1s though. See, I thought that everybody was gonna think like 2. Sick, absurd, nasty 2.
Yeah, it's looking pretty even.
Okay, so it's even.
Maybe a little bit more twos, but I say yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that was very scientific.
Very informal, yeah.
Thanks for the quick idea. But I do have a Genesis 3 story to tell. So, at Apex, I was talking to some nice gentleman. If anybody in chat can actually tell me what his name is, he runs a tournament called Ascension in Massachusetts. And he was telling me, man, dude, we're going to run Ascension, and it's going to be a sick tournament. All these TVs at Apex, we're going to have them there. And, we hope that everybody comes out. He was like, hey, it's like in July, right? And in my mind, I'm just like, holy shit, Genesis is in July. We can't have a tournament in Massachusetts if we have a tournament on the West Coast. Nobody's going to go to both. We're going to be splitting a bunch of people. Yeah, maybe it is Ascension. I don't know. I think it's Ascension, but I don't know. Whatever. And so, something happened in my brain at this moment where I'm like looking at this guy and I'm thinking to myself, no, you're going to mess up Genesis 3. And maybe it's just the fact that I watch The Wire too much. Anybody might catch this reference between Herc and Carve. But like I'm looking at this guy and I'm just thinking to myself like, no, this can't happen. And I wanted to show him how much Genesis 3 mattered, right? So here's what I did, right? I can't stand up, but here's the best I can do. I was standing up and I gave him the scar stare. I was like, I sort of tilt sideways and I give him like the eyes. And I just took my right hand and I went, the 3 fingers, the Genesis salute. I looked at him and I was like, you can't fuck with Genesis 3, bro. And he just like sort of looked at me like, what is this kid doing? But anyway, point being, that's the birth of the Genesis 3 salute. So Alvin from NorCal said, man, I've never made it out of pools international. I looked at him and I went, Genesis 3, dude. That's the salute. I don't know who likes it,
Like
I don't know who
stripes.
doesn't, but I actually
Stripes.
think it's the coolest thing that anybody's ever done in the history of the world. Boom! And do you know what I would love to do right now? I would love to take a quick break, and I
Sure.
would love to just get a few call-ins about like people's favorite moments at Apex.
Actually, I have a couple of giveaways from Apex as well. So a lot of you know that OC Remix was one of the sponsors for Apex. I happen to have 4 of the CDs I'm going to go ahead and give away. So, want to do some trivia, right, Scar?
Me. Give me one.
I'm hella good at trivia.
I'm really terrible at trivia.
Let's offer it up to the stream.
All right, fine.
All right.
Stream, since we're talking about Genesis, Genesis 1, first person to say what place Scar got gets a CD.
All right, so technically
I think
Zelda
I saw
Freak
it.
won, but I think in reality I got 5th, and it's bull shit
shit.
that I had to take
No,
6th because
bitch.
Genesis is the only tournament.
No, bitch.
Come on, man, I got 5th. I got 5th in double elimination. There's some
Find
stupid...
me a post on Smashboards where there's a 5 next to your name.
I'll make it right this second. I've actually probably posted it a million times, by the way. I got
All
5th
right,
in
Zelda Freak, message me on Smashboards. I'll go ahead and get that CD to you. I got 3 more of those.
Anyway,
So,
by the way, I got 5th at Genesis.
You're incorrect.
And...
Cool.
Alright, keep going, Prague.
All right. Let's go back. Let's keep it West Coast style. This crew was known for all of the combo videos they put out that got players like me into the game.
Wow.
Bowback, okay. Bowback.
Wow,
really
boo!
Bowback doesn't count. Fuck. Alright, looks like Pac-Man had it.
All right, Pac-Man, message me. I'll send it to you. I got 2 more of these OCR CDs.
I would like to give a special shout out to the first person who named it by its proper name. Let's see who it was.
I saw. I think it was DOH. I saw,
I think it may have been DOH.
but nope. I see Hillian before him. I see other people ahead of him. But word.
This is the first one I see.
Wait,
Did
what?
I say that right? I think that's the best I
Okay.
can do.
Wait, for what?
Yeah.
I see.
He said he spelled out death by a
Oh, okay.
word that I'm not prepared to say right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 2. So we got Pac-Man and I forgot who already won the first one. Oh God, I'm horrible at this.
Zelda Freak.
Word. Third question. Okay, this one's going to be a really quick one. Is this which one from Apex? Okay, Akubra Assault. Yes, you win.
I think Bobak got it. He said okay, man.
He said okay.
Like, right
No.
He said
away.
okay. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. And last one. Last CD. I don't know. Sharon, do you have a question for the people?
Oh, I can think of a lot of trivia questions. Should it be like tournament related or like Smash or like mechanics related or what? I can think of a lot of stuff.
That's awesome.
Okay, actually, I was CD about both Sheridan and I. Sheridan and I both talk about this one band a lot. If you can name it in chat.
That's really hard. I don't know the answer to that.
This is Megabus.
One Direction. Wow.
Okay, shouts to Lovage, I guess.
I'll give it to Lovage.
Notes. Yeah.
King Crimson? That's a
Yes,
band?
sir. Yes, sir.
Sick. Good job, Lovage. It's fantastic. You
So
won
you
a
guys-
CD!
Message me on Smashboards. I'll try and get those mailed out by the end of the week. No promises.
Fantastic. All
I
right.
see
man.
people say Porcupine Tree. Shout to you guys.
Captain Beefheart. Good try, Bobak.
Cool. I'm ready for favorite moments for Apex and to take a quick break. Does anybody have a problem with that idea?
No.
I know I'm seeing
Although,
one call.
I don't know how long people want to stay on for this, but I think we should get through this, the ugly part
Sure,
for
absolutely.
Apex.
Do you want to
Yeah.
invite people on for it, or shall we just plow through it?
Let's just plow through it, and then somebody can call in if they have a very, if they have an opinion that they would like to defend vociferously.
All right, sure. So the first ugly thing that I want to mention, Obi-Wan Jabroni just brought it up for me. Metal Reaper, Bobby Deke, that fool, challenged me on my own podcast to a money match, all right? You ready for this? This kid, thinks he's going to beat the great one. And so what ends up happening, I go to Apex, right? I don't know who he is. I'm Scar. You find me, Bobby Deke. Just bring it. So I never money matched with him. That's the spoiler alert. But on day 2, Saturday, I was sitting playing a tournament, and actually I was playing some friendlies, and some guy comes up to me and he's like, "Oh man, you're doing pretty good." I don't know who he is. So we were talking for a little bit. It was probably when I was playing UProg actually in friendlies, and
We'll talk
he
about
keeps
those.
talking in the middle of my matches, and I turn around, and I just look at him like, "Hey, what's up, dude? Nice to meet you." And he was like, "Wait, you don't know who I am?" I was like, have we met before? He's like, you really don't know? Dude, it's Metal Reaper. It's Bobby D. I was like, wow, money match me right now. And, he ended up not money matching me, and also he told me that we had played the day before, but he didn't tell me how it went. Right? So not only did I not know him, but he's just some kid who walked up, got destroyed, probably 3-stocked, and just left, and didn't tell me that he was Metal Reaper. Wow.
Fraud alert.
The first ugly part of Apex.
Does Metal Reaper want to call in to
He's not even
Probably
on the
not,
cast,
no.
dude. He knew.
take the night off?
Exposed as fraudulent.
Definitely fraudulent. All right, so to the Google Doc.
To the doc. So, shall we talk about bracket pools versus round robin pools?
Absolutely. While you do it, I'm going to do a quick refresh.
Okay. Well, I've got a lot of things that I can say about that. I think I don't blame Apex at all for making the decision to go with bracket pools based on the number of entrants they had. It was a safe choice. Just time-wise to make sure everything gets done, especially with Brawl, because we all know that runs long. And so that's fine. But let's talk about the scenario where we can choose between bracket pools and round robin, where we have the time and staff and organization to run either one if we choose. It's my opinion that the only reason that you would play bracket pools is specifically if you just need the time and there's no other way to get it done. I guess at those 1,000-man tournaments at EVO, you pretty much have to go bracket pools. I mean, it's just intractable to try to do round robin pools with that size. But I think round robin pools should always be done if possible, because the thing that I really don't like about bracket pools is that it's possible to go 2 and out in the bracket pools and not play anybody. You get 2 sets and you're out, and you might not have even got to play anybody that was a really high skill level. You didn't get a chance to play a top or high level player. You're just playing a couple other randoms, around your own skill level, and then you're done. And I think that's not what people, especially the lower skilled people, pay to enter a tournament for. They want to have the opportunity to play the top and high level players in a tournament setting, because they're realistically they're not going to get time for friendlies with that caliber of player, and it's their chance to get to play them in a tournament level environment. And no matter how seriously you take friendlies, there's something about tournaments where it's an experience you can't really replicate, even in money matches. So I think it deprives people of that, and just having more matches, more tournament matches total. In an 8-man pools like we have at Genesis, you're guaranteed 7 sets. The worst player gets 7 sets instead of 2 sets, and so I think even the low-level players playing the other low-level players, even when they know they're not going to make it out of pools, it's still something that they can take seriously. They can put, they can play for pride, for bragging rights, for whatever, because they just want to come and see how good they are against the rest of the world, basically. And I think if you choose bracket pools over round robin when you had the choice, then that kind of deprives them of that experience. And so that's how I feel about round robin pools versus bracket pools for the most part.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. I wish I could add more in Descent. So but we did save a bunch of time, right?
Absolutely,
There
and
is
I think that I think that bracket pools could have even been run faster than they were.
Yeah.
At Apex, and round robin pools, all other things being equal, do also take more manpower, more volunteers to run. So it's not just time; it's also manpower that you have to factor in.
Yeah. So and then mathematically, a tournament that's run with round robin is going to be more rigorous than it will be than it would be if it's bracket pools, right? Because there's more sets.
Yes,
higher
that's
degree
true.
of confidence.
Yeah. You do introduce a little bit more of the endurance factor into it, but I do also think that round robin generally, if you have some seeding problems, there's people that you just don't know how to seed well, that gets worked out better in round robin than in bracket pools. Also.
Yeah. So I think that so we tested out bracket pools now, right? And I feel like the general consensus is that we didn't like it too much, right? But I would say that since it did save a ton of time, and it also felt to me like we saved so much time, but we didn't use that time for anything else. Do you know what I mean?
True. Yes.
Like if we had other things on the agenda and we weren't going to make, we were running out of time, then I see the value in it. But the other thing is, if somebody's doing a very large one-day tournament, bracket pools may have a really good place there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
I know. Show Me Your Move. Show Me Your Moves in the Midwest. I think it's in Illinois. They have had some very large brackets and they've done them all in one day. And I think they did pools, but I think that would be super hard to participate in. It's really would be a real test of endurance. So
yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with Sheridan. Prague, do you have any thoughts about bracket pools? If anybody, if anybody thought that bracket pools were awesome, feel free to call in, and we can talk about it.
I think bracket pools they make every match count a lot more, because it's like in round robin, and who the number 1 seed is in your pool. Everyone's fighting for the number 2, number 3, number 4 in this case. Bracket pools, every match counts. You you can't afford to mess up. I mean, you can't afford that in any match, but even to a lesser degree in bracket pools. So
True.
that's it.
So item number 2.
And yes, I just saw on the stream. Forgot to mention this. It is true. Bracket pools, you don't have to deal with tiebreakers.
That's great. That is good.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like you got screwed out of anything, unless if you had
Right.
it. Well, I'm sure that you can always feel like you got screwed out of something. So
Yeah, but there's also the possibility of seeding messing it up too. So
okay.
yeah, plus or minus.
So number 2, I'm all ready to show this moment.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Let's
So
hear it.
we're gonna turn it over to YouTube. Shout outs to YouTube. All right. So this is that's me. What's up with its car? And this is winners round 4 at Apex in teams. And Leffen and Ice were up 1-0. Me and Usfat.
Spat in a pretty bad
All right,
position.
let's see it.
Yeah, they were both stuck in steel for a second. That's it. Yeah, FX couldn't get over there. Man, this is tight. Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so that's the moment. I paused, and yeah, it's totally my fault.
Yeah.
For the record, let's see how much danger Zach was
Position.
in.
Yeah, they were both
Seems
stuck
to me
in
that
steel for a
Leffen
second.
misses a grab.
That's it. Yeah, FX couldn't get over there.
And that's
Man,
about
this is
the
tight.
effect of that pause, right? You know,
Let's
maybe
see,
he could
let's
have
see.
punished, but it seems like gameplay
No,
wasn't seriously
I wouldn't
affected.
say that even. I would say maybe Zach was in a little bit worse position, but
Right.
yeah.
So, I have my perspective on it, right? Because I was affected by it. But
Well, why don't you just talk about the events as they happened and then give your perspective?
Oh, sure, yeah. So, I mean, you know, we were playing, we were down 1 game, and it felt to me like that game we kind of had. You know, we were up a full stock, and I made an extremely stupid up B, and I got punished really hard for it by Ice. You know, props to Ice. He covered the options super well, and I lost a stock. You know, super low percent. So yeah, you know, it's Apex. I want to have perfect tech skill and push the pause button right away. This is actually, I'm not sure this has ever happened to me before, but for one reason or another, maybe it was just the adrenaline flowing. I hit pause like 3 times. I must have hit it even more times than that because I literally paused it twice, right? So I must have stolen the stock, paused and unpaused, and paused again. So, you know, I'm super confused about how I did it, but I did do it. So that happened, and you know, I'm getting ready to come down from the cloud, and you know, somebody else pauses. So it's Leffen, and you know, he looks at me and he says, you know, that's our win. And I was like, you know, I kind of want to put the video up, right? Because I could probably lip read and know exactly what I said, but I said something to the effect of, "Come on, man, you got to be kidding me." And you know, the way that I articulated my position to him was. Like, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? So, you know, he insisted that he won, and so I did the logical thing. I stood up. I think that from my body language, it was clear to the audience that I was very, very upset. Not like upset, like about to cry, but like upset, like pretty pissed. And I walked right to the TO desk. I said, you know, I paused the game by accident. Leffen wants to take the match. I went back and sat down, and we talked about it for a little bit. I said some things that maybe I shouldn't have said, right? Like, what I wanted to say was basically, hey, man, listen, never in the history of Melee have I ever seen this rule enforced. And I think the way that I said it to him was, I was channeling Jack Nicholson from The Departed. Sheridan, have you seen The Departed?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's talking to a bunch of guys about a drug deal, and he says, you know, he's telling them about how when you bring an automatic weapon, it's not cool. You just get a life sentence for it, right? And he's like, in this country, you know.
Yeah.
And so I said to him, I said, you know, that never in the history in this country, you know, have we ever enforced this rule. Like, are you kidding me? So anyway, yeah, point being, the point that I tried to make to him was this has never been enforced before, and like it was an accident. So, you know, he said that he was in a bad position, so on and so forth. The rules were read aloud to us, and you know, it turned out that there was a rule specifically written for this situation, and I had to lose my stock.
Yeah.
A second part to my argument to him was, how did I lost it? We went to the rules. I had to lose my stock. Oh, the other thing that I had to say to him was that, listen, if you care about the set so much, if you care about this rule so much that you're willing to like really ruin the spirit of competition, in my opinion, to have that be enforced, you should turn pause off. Like if you know going into the set that if somebody pauses by accident, and you're gonna call that they need to lose their stock, like then that tells me that you care about it. And so if you care about it, you should take actions to prevent it, as opposed to what I see as being a win that's not really earned and against the spirit of the rule. So that was what I said to Leffen. I also told him that that it tells me something about who he is as a person, which I also shouldn't have said. Apologize to you, Leffen.
No,
I
think
bit
that's
upset
an
about it.
accurate thing to say.
And so, you know, a lot of the feedback that I've seen has been very polarized, right? A lot of people are saying Leffen's a jerk and Leffen sucks, and other people are saying it's in the rules, and so it's in the rules. So he has the right to do it, and I agree more with the second position, which is that he did have the right to do it. And my position on this is that Leffen did what he did as a competitor, and he got the better end of the deal. It was obviously a good tactical decision as far as that set's concerned. Maybe not for his status in the community, but maybe he doesn't care about that, and maybe we shouldn't punish him so hard. But the second part is the TO's response to it. And so I don't know about the process of coming up with this rule, right? But it seems to me that I can't recall a single time when this has been enforced before. And so it is my opinion that on the stream TV at the biggest tournament of the year in winner's bracket, in a situation where it really didn't affect the match that much, as a TO, I feel weird about really like throwing the set out the window. I feel like it goes against the spirit of the competition, and also like, I just feel like there should be a warning. Like there was no enabling me to understand the consequences of my actions, and I feel cheated because of that. But
well, I don't know. I think the rule, as I heard it explained, it sounded like Leffen was within his right to take advantage, as he did. I would say that it first of all, I don't think it should have been your stock that he took.
agreed.
I mean, the rule is the rule, but if I were to rewrite the rule, it shouldn't be your stock. It should be Zach's stock.
Agreed.
Because
worst case
a
scenario,
new
he
stock
dies.
is going to come out anyway, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But I would also say that I would encourage the players, and I don't know if I could put this in a rule formally, but I would encourage the players only to invoke this rule if they feel that it significantly disrupted, the flow of the match, if it cost them an opportunity. And I don't think that it did in this case. I mean, Zach was not really under any imminent threat.
Mm-hmm.
Not being edge guarded, he had a little bit question. His positioning was he was kind of in a tight corner, but other than that, I don't really feel like that was the case. So in situations like that, I would encourage the players to work something out a little more informally to try to find out what's fair before going to the rule set.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take on it.
I'm trying to look at the exact moment before.
Yeah, and you'll also notice that you had 2 stock and you didn't have to steal anything.
Holy shit. Is that why? Oh my god, what an idiot! Wow, I'm so stupid.
Oh my.
Fraudulent Scar. Scar is terrible. Look at that Captain Falcon face. He's got his shades on, he's smiling, and I press start? Oh my god. That's so embarrassing. I'm so sad that you told me that. I'm gonna sleep way worse
I
tonight.
was debating whether or not to tell you, honestly.
I made up a bunch of reasons why I must have hit the button that many times, right? And
Yeah.
they're all wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach's like literally just walking away. The jump
Yeah.
was after the pause, and the misgrab was also after the pause.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I mean, I feel like, okay, he actually did jump. He was like literally the frame before, and Leffen's about to miss a grab, so he's probably about to get back aired. Point being, whatever, right?
Yeah.
He was within his rights. I think it's fine from my perspective. I think that if I were the TO, I wouldn't have done that. You know, I would have given one warning for the sake of the entire community, so that we can say, hey, we're actually going to start enforcing this now. But
Yeah.
that's a subjective call, and I don't think that anybody made the wrong call. I think that Leffen did what he had to do. I made a mistake, and
Yeah.
the only other thing that I would say is that I kind of feel like, no, I shouldn't even say it. It's stupid. Okay, it's a technicality, right? I'll just say it, but I actually don't agree with this position too much, right? But if you play a set with pause on, I don't see a clear distinction between that and playing a set with friendly fire off.
Well,
like,
I
we
do,
played the
because
set-
that doesn't really. Friendly fire off affects the game all throughout the thing. I mean, it changes the entire game from the beginning, whereas pause off only comes up at a very discrete event, close to the end in this case.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Of course, I understand that. But point being, we started the set outside of the rule set, and so I don't see how it's not within my right to argue, at least as a player, that the whole match that we played is fraudulent, and we should restart.
No, because I think
You say no.
once something happens, it happens, and if you don't take care to play within the rules at the beginning, then
Yeah, so
and-
you're
unless
allowed to say no.
I mean, there's obviously exceptional circumstances, but yeah, that's been general practice among TOs, I think.
All right, so that's topic number 2. And
Yeah.
I'm satisfied with that. If anybody wants to come on and talk more about it, you can yell at me, tell me I'm silly, whatever. Please
Yeah,
feel free.
I think
You're dumb.
Yeah. Thanks, dude.
I think if I was in that situation, if I was Leffen at least, and I wasn't, I didn't need to win this tournament for my life or anything like that, I would say, let me forward throw, SFAT off the stage.
Yeah.
As soon as that happens, then you can come in, and we'll call that even.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I would have said, forward smash the motherfucker.
Yeah, I always say that people should try to work it out among themselves, and if they can't come to an agreement, then that's what the rules are for.
Right.
Oh.
I did call it out when it happened that you did have 2 stocks at the time. You're trying to
Okay.
steal a stock you already had.
Uh,
But it's
Ineffective.
really, really unfortunate. But
Yeah.
hey,
Not
the rules
very
are there
effective.
to be enforced.
So, okay, that's that. And yeah, please feel free to call in about it, even though we've been going for 2.5 hours already. But number 3 was more DSR issues. So, I know that
yeah.
that the last time we talked about DSR at ROM 4?
On 5.
5. I was saying, hey man, this can happen again. So toot my own horn. This is a stupid rule. Going back to the stage that you last won on is a dumb rule. Tafikins are calling me. I don't understand why. Tafikins, don't call me. I will call you. I think it's a dumb rule, and it's extremely arbitrary. The only way that you can have that happen is if you lose game 1, right? You could lose game 1, win on your best stage game 2, and then beat the other guy on their best stage game 3. And now all of a sudden you have your best counter pick available to you twice. It's in the rules. It's very, very clear.
wait, why do you have your best counter pick twice?
Well, because the rule is you cannot counterpick the last stage that you won on.
Yeah, but that's stupid.
I agree. It's stupid and it has no
Yeah,
place.
I
It's
really
dumb.
don't understand it
It's
at all.
always been dumb.
Honestly, I really
And
don't.
also, no
understand
bans has always been dumb.
it. No. I think
And
you're
I
wrong.
feel that here's what I feel. Right? Somebody's telling me to apologize. I already apologized. Those 2 things work for. They overwrite each other. No bans, and also you can go back to the last stage you counterpicked on. Because if the purpose is stage diversity, then going back to Stadium or going back to FD,
Yeah.
so I'm talking about that set in particular, does not
Totally.
service that goal.
Totally.
And if you're going for a close set played on the most neutral or giving equal advantages, again, in this rule set, if one character has a more pronounced advantage on their counterpick than the other person, there's again an increase in the distribution of what your expectation would be. It strays farther away from what it would be if all 5 are played on a quote-unquote neutral. So I feel like there's 2 things that I want out of a rule set. 1 could be stage diversity. 2 could be let's make it rigorous and let's test the skills, and let's get to who's the better player. And those 2 things, I feel like when you have the 2 rules, best of 5, no bans, and you can go back to the same counterpick stage, I feel like it doesn't satisfy either. It's a bad solution for both.
Yeah. Well, I think no counterpicks in a best of 5, given the current stage set. I mean, you have to look at those in the context of what stages are available. And to me, I don't feel that the argument has been sufficiently made that we need to have bans in a best of 5. With the caveat that we have, the actual modified DSR, which is you can't pick any stage that you want on. I see absolutely no reason to have the quote unquote or the standard DSR where you can pick a stage that you want on, but just not the most recent one.
Yeah. Okay. So, but you do understand my position though that
yes, I do.
I am okay
totally.
with either. I'm okay with 1 ban and you cannot pick the same stage twice, or I mean no bans and you can't pick the same stage twice, or 1 ban.
Yeah.
I'm okay with either. I'm not okay with both. Both is so dumb. It's taking, think about grand finals. Marth vs. Peach is hard on Dreamland. It's really hard. And you know what else? It's really boring. She has a really pronounced advantage. I don't think that it's equal to Marth's advantage on FD, although I don't know the matchup that well. But point being, even if it is, the matchup is less interesting because of that great advantage. And I would rather see them on Fountain. I would rather see them on Story. I'd rather see them on Battlefield. I'd rather see them on Stadium. And, when you allow them to pick FD twice and Dreamland twice, it's a less interesting set. Well,
they wouldn't be able to pick it twice with no bans and DSR. And modified DSR.
Well, the rule set that we use at every tournament, that's what happens every time. And that's what
well,
happened at this
then,
tournament.
no, I don't think so.
It is. Set
If
1
that's the case,
was Battlefield.
No. If that's the case, then they didn't strike properly. There's no way you should be able to use your counterpick twice.
Somebody tell me in chat what the stages were for Grand Final Set 1. As far as I recall, Game 1 was on Battlefield. PP lost by a little bit. Game 2 was FD and he won. Game 3 was on Dreamland and he lost.
What set are we talking about?
Set 1.
Game
of what?
4, I think, was Pokemon.
4 was Stadium.
Of what?
Grand Finals. Set
of
1.
Apex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so this is Battlefield, FD, Dreamland, Pokemon Stadium, Battlefield. Okay, that's actually a really interesting. That's the way that I would ultimately want it to be, right? So that's good.
Sure.
But
let
let's
me
talk
just
about
do one
M2K
thing real quick.
PP, right?
Let me just do one thing real quick. This is a public service announcement to everybody who's listening. Make sure you spread the word to all your friends and your parents and everybody else. Standard DSR is you can't pick the last stage you want on. Modified DSR is you can't pick any stage you want on. The definition that's in the Apex rule set has them switched around. The definition that's in the official MBR rule set has them switched around. I just want everybody to know this and remember this forever. Okay,
I forgot
thank you.
already.
Remember it forever. Okay, so can we talk about losers finals then, because it demonstrates my point?
Yes.
What the hell, man?
Tell me about losers finals.
Imagine for a moment that it went the other way, where M2K, where there was no controversy, and this is something that absolutely can happen. Stage 1 is played on a neutral, right? Let's say, for sake of the argument, M2K goes FD and loses. Now he goes FD again. Okay, so we already saw FD. It is, in my opinion, a less interesting matchup on account of the fact that so many options are removed from Falco, and M2K wins. Okay, fantastic. Good for you, Mewtwo King.
Yeah.
And now they get to go to Stadium, and imagine Mewtwo King wins. He clutches it out. Okay, that's interesting that he did win. But then you go to Stadium again, and he just gets, he loses because it's a disadvantage. And imagine it in such a way where it's not as interesting a matchup inherently as Marth Falco, right?
I don't understand your example. So the way I heard it was Battlefield, FD, FD, Stadium, Stadium.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what's wrong with that.
It's boring.
but
I think that there's several things. One, it's less interesting because there's not as many stages. Two, it's less interesting because the advantage for the counter-picking character is as extreme as it can get.
how so?
Well, because by definition it is. There's no ban. So you pick the stage that's the best for your character.
Uh-huh.
So it's farther from what we would consider like the mean. And then that's the third point that I would have is that, you know, it's less rigorous as far as testing the skills of the player because
But
not
see-
only do you not play on different stages, but you play on stages that influence the matchup the most.
Okay, but the question, I mean, sure, that's absolutely true, but it's not the fact that they influence it the most that we should be concerned about. It's whether that, how much is acceptable. It's whether they influence it too much or not.
Mhm.
Because there's always going to be one that's the most. The question is whether that's within what we as a community decide is, you know, acceptable balance. Although, personally, I don't think balance should really be something that we strongly consider when making a stage set anyway. But, I mean... So, is your problem that if you... What if we had a rule where once you lose on your counter pick, you can't pick on it. You can't pick it again.
Yeah, you can't pick any stage you already picked unless it's the neutral stage. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. But
or you have one ban, so that at least we play on only 3 stages, but they're closer to what is, you know, what is considered neutral.
Uh-huh.
So I think that the advantage that's given by having both of those rules is extreme. Not only the advantage, but the interest is less.
Uh-huh.
From my perspective as a viewer, and I may not have all the answers, right? I'm not the only viewer out there, but it doesn't work for me.
Right.
And it never has. And you know, I would love to talk more about it. I'm not sure that we want to get too far into it tonight. I would love to have
this is a big discussion.
Yeah, because it's right
maybe
back
we
to
should-
stages, and I mean, this is
Yeah.
like super gigantic.
Yeah. So maybe we should leave it at that. And I think Tavokins had wanted to call in for the
He's
Leffen
dying
chant.
to call in. All right, let me
Yeah.
get him on. I've already heard what he has to say, so I'm gonna go get my food into a legitimate container.
Okay.
And
So
I'm
you
going
want to bring
eat
him
it.
on and
Yeah,
we'll start the discussion? Okay.
Tavokins, I hope you're ready.
Yeah. You better be ready, man. Or
Look
else.
at that beautiful picture. Wow. Can I enlarge this somehow?
Oh, Violence wants to call in a little bit too.
Sure.
All right. So
I can get them
do
both
that.
on at the same time. Do you want to do that or no? Nah.
If he wants
Two
to.
Lees?
Oh
Too
my
many.
gosh, two
Too
Lees. Yeah.
He's coming. Look at that. Look at that beautiful face. Sup with it, Tafakinis. You are on Melee It On Me episode 4, where we have raised an absurd amount of money in the fight against breast cancer. How are you?
All thanks to you guys. Thank you.
I'm really excited about this. I never thought we would hit this much money. I thought we were going to get around 8,000 by the end of the day with the matches. So,
Yeah, so did
I'm really amazed at
we
what's
are
going on.
so close to 10K. Bobak, if you're looking for a reason to give away a free entry to Genesis, let it be the person who breaks 10K. I don't know how we would measure it, but it's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. So let's set up this conversation. So I wasn't there for this chant. Somebody tell me what happened. I only read about it.
I'm actually so after the incident that happened in winners of teams with Scar and SFAT versus Ice and Leffen. Obviously, I really liked them very much, so I was a little not happy. Coupled this with some previous background with Leffen, just watching the forums and just not really liking him too much. So I was the one that decided to start the Leffen Sucks chant. So here, I'm the one that started it.
Okay.
So
when did this happen?
This happened the set right after when Mango and DOH played them in winners immediately
Okay.
after. And I proposed, let's do the Leffen Sucks chant.
Uh-huh. And then it took off?
Yeah, it took off with, I guess, our NorCal corner and a few other people that just didn't like Leffen, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me what you having said that, what do you feel about it? And
Well, I mean, I've been in Melee as a community since 2005, just lurking, watching videos. So I feel like, especially in the community we're in NorCal, we've always had this history of trash talking with some people doing it rather vigorously. Watching the old crew battles, if you look at Melee FC, the classic East Coast versus West Coast or Midwest versus West Coast, there's always been a history of trash talking. Chillin' Dude has done it in the past. The original Deadly Alliance with the West. It's always been there. So, in terms of what's been said in the past and what has been said by me with 11 Sucks, I felt like personally it was relatively tame. I never wanted to make personal attacks on him. I never wanted to make fun of his mother or anything like that. So I've gotten a lot of feedback of disapproval on it, but for me, I thought it was relatively tame from what I'm used to. Even at Kings of Cali, there was a lot more hateful things being thrown out there than laughing sex.
hmm yeah, that's pretty similar to how I feel about it too. Um, this wasn't just picking on somebody, a foreign player for being foreign. It kind of came after what he did in that previous set, and it's kind of exacerbated by how he appears on the boards. But given that it wasn't directly insulting Leffen as a person, like you said, it didn't really get personal with it. He wasn't physically threatened, and I don't think he felt threatened walking around the tournament the rest of the time. I'm sure maybe a couple people said something that was said some nasty things, but that wasn't what he heard. That wasn't what the crowd chant was about. So I honestly don't think it's that big of a deal, and I would love to hear from somebody who disagrees with me and Tafo.
I think there's a lot of people who do, and I agree with you 1,000%.
I feel like Proc has a differing opinion if you want to talk about
Cactuar
it.
definitely does. It's a shame that he's not here.
Yeah.
I guess especially after the NEC events, and especially on the East Coast where we do have a lot of people who talk trash. I'm more in the field that if you want to support someone, by all means, go for it. But you want to boost up their ego instead of try and demolish the ego of their opponent. It's just my 2 cents on it, I feel. And especially like listening after the original Weapon Sucks chant, it escalated to some insane stuff, including some homophobic language that, of course, I'm not a proponent of. But
Well, hey,
yeah,
man,
if you're gonna,
the person who did that has been known to do that, And so,
Yeah.
like, if we have a problem with that,
That
honestly,
person should be taken to task for that.
yeah,
for sure.
for real. Like, and we don't punish the things that are really a problem, in my opinion. And at the same time, like, whatever. Tabakins is just. It seems like a cheer to me. Like, I feel like there's a place for that kind of mental warfare, in these tournaments. Like, you need to be on point even when the crowd's with you, even when the crowd's against you, and that's part of the skill that's tested. You know what I mean?
true.
And it's
Yeah,
interesting
and-
to me, and I think that it's so. I've said this before. I think it's so impressive that PP can have a whole room of people hating on him, whole room of people cheering against him. Hungry Box at every tournament this kid goes to, there's a whole room of people cheering for him to lose, and he knows it. But he keeps his
Yeah.
cool. He plays hard, and he wins a lot, and that impresses me more than somebody who's like, well, why are you guys hating on me? The other piece of the puzzle is that it's kind of a social consequence, right? Like, you can't do whatever you want in life and have everybody like you. And, like, he has done certain
Yeah.
things that have upset certain people. And so, when you continually do things that are not quite with the community, there is a social consequence to that. And I just feel like, he has people on both sides of all of these issues as well, right? There are people who say Leffen sucks, and there's other people who say, leave the guy alone. He's just following the rules. And both positions are relatable.
Well, speaking of Leffen, he is in the chat and he doesn't want to join the channel, the the street,
See
the
if
Skype
he's-
channel
see if
call.
he-
All right, I'd be very happy to have him.
Yeah, Leffen, add me,
Yeah.
R. Scarduzio.
Oh, he can't get on Skype.
Wow,
Leffen,
noob.
Leffen,
sucks.
you talk. I'll-
sucks. See, I'm kidding now, Leffen, right? And if you heard me earlier in the conversation, I apologized for saying that we do things a certain way in this country, and also that that other thing that I said. I apologize. So
Right.
I hope you didn't take anything too personally, and
Leffen, go ahead and talk, and I'll go ahead and read what you say verbatim.
Yeah.
I guess.
But I think the point that also should be made is that this didn't happen really just for no reason, right? This wasn't just hating on a person to hate on him. This was in response to something. So I feel it's less, it's not, to the extent that it's bad, it's not as bad as it just, I don't like this guy, so I'm going to cheer against him, right? It happened after, it was part of, events that had happened earlier. So it doesn't quite reflect on the community, as much as it would otherwise.
Leffen, we already covered the pausing incident, so
Yeah.
you're a bit behind.
we looked at it, and
Yeah,
you absolutely
we went over the
followed-
rules
You
set.
absolutely followed the rules, and it was within your right to call rules. And it's not the question that we have been discussing is not the question of like, did the rule call, was that within what you're allowed to do at the tournament? No, the answer is
Right.
absolutely yes.
Yeah.
The question was more nuanced with like, should one invoke that rule?
Or is that even a rule? Or how would we rewrite that rule if we,
is it a rule that we should have? Right, those questions. So
Right.
But Leffen, especially your thoughts on this,
The
on the
trash.
cheering against you, that whole spiel.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. It says there's a problem with the call.
I still hear you. I think Tavakins might have.
Yeah. Dropped. Peace.
Also, I'm going to shout out to Leffen. Leffen gave me, as you NorCal people would say, hella money last year
Hell of money.
for
I think,
That
gas
says he
or
was not
petrol.
affected that badly by the chant, that which is good.
Right.
But
Yeah,
was it surprising, or were you just disheartened by it? Or?
Do you think
It doesn't-
it
it-
soured how you feel about, the American Smash community, or was this something that you might have expected?
I think this was a really bad chant in principle.
I'm not quite sure what that means.
No, I guess that he just agrees philosophically with Prague and Kator and many others that you should cheer someone on as opposed to off.
Yeah.
Also, shout outs to Trader Joe's.
I love
Made
Trader
some
Joe's.
delicious chicken, buttered chicken.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Well, what you're saying about you follow the rules, you get hated. Okay, so one of the points that we made was that for something like this, my belief is that the rules are there for when the two parties can't work it out between themselves. So,
well, but he
to me,
did.
what-
He did
what-
insist, right?
right. So what I would say is that some people could interpret your you're wanting to go immediately to that rule as being unwilling to negotiate something with the other team that was more in the spirit of competition. Again, you're completely within your rights to do that, but that's just it kind of goes against some of the spirit that people have. That's kind of the point that's being made.
Yeah. So we'll see what he says. We don't have to. We don't have
Yeah.
to wait.
Also,
Bobak,
Bobak and Violence wanted to get on.
All right, Violence has been waiting, so I'm going to add him
Yeah.
now. Bobak, just add me on Skype and tell me what you want to talk about, and I'll add you. Violence, I'm adding you, dude.
Leffen, you can't talk penalty kicks in football. No one watches UEFA except for me.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. Sup, Eric?
Yo. Hello from Canada. This is Violence. So I've been involved in a lot of different communities with different rules and policies. And when this situation came up, I was pretty interested because it's a lot. It's very similar to what happens at, like, say, Magic tournaments, big tournaments. Oftentimes people will suddenly lose because of an accident, and it'll be a rules related victory, not a skill related victory, and I think that leaves a bad taste in people's mouths when they see it. But sometimes these things have to happen. But however, in this particular situation, I think that I agree with Bobby on the decision of the TO to uphold the rules there, the letter of the rules. I don't particularly agree with at that point in time. And the thing is, I really want to impress upon all the other TOs right now, whenever you do something in your tournament that is different from how things are normally done, you should make an announcement at the beginning of the tournament and say, hey guys, this is Apex, this is how we're doing things. If you pause, we're going to take your game. We're going to take your stock, and that might cost you the game. So please turn pause off. As far as I know, there wasn't any kind of announcement like that, right? People weren't warned. It came as kind of a surprise to you that once you paused, like, suddenly, oh snap, I lost. This isn't Leffen's fault at all. The rules are there to protect the players, and a pause can definitely gain you advantage. So, like, I can totally understand Leffen feeling that he has the right to call an official, because this is definitely an infraction. But it's the job of the TO to inform the players how things are done differently.
I gotta disagree with you there.
I agree with that 1,000,000%. Prague, go ahead and.
I gotta disagree with you there. I mean, if these rules are listed on the website, you have to read the rules as a player because of nuances like this that may or may not appear. Yes, things are going to be done differently from event to event. So that's even more so reasons for the player to be aware of what the rules are. I mean, no one's going to hold everyone's hand and say, yes, this is different. You know, like Matt.Zeb said at, I think, Northeastern tournaments, they say if you are supposed to play on a recording setup and you don't play on it, you forfeit the match. These are all rules you have to deal with. These are ones that you should know because they're written down. So
and I also have to say that this is not actually a new rule. It's just not, to my knowledge, ever really been enforced. So that's why people might not have known about it.
Right. So to tag team off of both of those points, like, there are situations that we've never encountered, right? And the TO is going to have to make a call, especially when, you know, it's like new ground. Okay, that's fine. But as a player, I have become accustomed to the culture of Smash tournaments over many years, right? We know what Smash tournaments are, and we know almost all the edge cases. I have unfortunately been involved in, like, lots of pauses in the middle of TV sets. Some have been extremely disruptive to the flow of the match, but the most that has ever happened is, like, an extremely stern look and, like, dude, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. That's as far as it goes. There's never even been a mention, a thought of like calling that there's some actual penalty or consequence. To the point where in my X amount of years, can we do the math on 2007? 6 years playing the game, I didn't even know that was a rule. And I agree to a point that, you need to read the thread and, like, understand. But at the same time, if a TO wants to create a good product,
Yes.
the point is really that we're all working together to have a great community. Do you know what I mean? And if we keep our focus on what our goals are, which in my opinion is to have a great community, a great game where everybody has fun, and we do the best that we can, we push ourselves in tournament, then there needs to be a relationship between the players and the TOs. Like, the TOs are not the people who put shit in fine print in a thread and expect everybody to follow the rules. The TO has to communicate with the player, and the player needs to communicate with the TO if he's in a situation that he doesn't know what's going on. And that's a way that we can work together and have great tournaments. That's my opinion.
So, Prague, to answer your question with a bit of an analogy, earlier this year, I traveled during Thanksgiving to San Antonio, for a 1,500 person Magic tournament. And Magic has a gigantic set of comprehensive rules for tournament play. The document is about 45 to 60 pages long, and it changes several times a year. This year, it was changed very significantly 2 or 3 times, and some of the changes went back on some of the previous changes. And these changes can definitely affect the outcome of the game by a large amount. Because players don't know the differences that they should know, it is absolutely their responsibility. It can affect a lot of games, and a lot of people will go home with a bad taste in their mouth if these rules are enforced like that. So what they do at the beginning is, during the morning announcements, the TO makes a series of reminders saying, you need to remember this and this because of recent rules changes that we are now enforcing. Because the penalty is so severe, I feel like the TO should have done it. I know this is all in hindsight, and I do believe that Full Metal was fully within his capabilities as a TO to give Bobby this to tell him to suicide. That's fine. He can make that decision. I just think that if I were in that same position, I would have looked back and said, well, this is a very obscure rule and this is the first time we're enforcing it. This is what we're doing differently here at Apex. I should probably have let people know. I probably would have given a smaller punishment instead of a suicide. But I do think that Full Metal, like, he made the call that he made a call, and I do also support his decision because it is his tournament.
Well, I mean, like we said, it's not a new rule, and also this is an MTG tournament. We are talking card games. It's a lot easier to make announcements when, Dreamland isn't blaring off of 84 televisions. So.
Sorry.
That's fair.
That's true, but people have made announcements before tournaments before, like during Pound, there was always an announcement at the beginning and before bracket. So I definitely think that's feasible, and I just think that that kind of thing was overlooked because it was an old rule, but it probably was new to a lot of people just because it never really been enforced. The other thing is, I think really the actual fair implementation of the rule is that it should have been Zach's stock that should have been lost and not Bobby's, since Zach was on the stage and the only one who really stood to lose something during it.
I can see that.
Right.
So that's just the design of the rule is not well thought out.
Right, but
Probably because nobody
Leffin brought up
expected
a point that I wanted to get at in the stream, where he talked about penalty kicks and things like that in football versus, when I made the comparison to being against the spirit of competition and things like that. So the way that I tend to look at rules is that we have rules to accomplish a goal. And that goal is some higher spirit of gaming, some kind of, some ideal that we're trying to get to. And the rule is a kind of more base, discrete way that we try to implement that ideal. So I think when you when people are, so there's always this kind of a little bit of tension between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, right? Mm-hmm. So what I would say is that to those counterexamples is that the examples he gave are situations where both teams or both people are expecting each other to play to the letter of the law as the game is going on, right? Whereas something where you have a discrete event like a pause or whatever, that's something where you can look at the rule at that point and decide whether invoking this rule satisfies the spirit that this law was written with, right? Because that's really our higher, our higher authority in how we run our tournaments is what did we put this rule down there for? And if I invoke this rule, does that speak to what we're putting it down for? So, but I still say that that's not to say that you're not within your right to invoke it to its full power. That's just where I'm coming from when I talk about saying that the way that it was invoked was somewhat contrary to the spirit of competition. So I hope that made sense.
Made perfect sense to me.
I can understand that point of view. Yeah.
Hey, Eric, I'm going to try to get Bob back on, and we're going to try
Absolutely.
to wrap up.
Oh, one second though. Before I go, I just want to plug the tournament that I'm hosting in May. Is that cool? So we're going to be hosting a giant tournament associated with Northwest Majors. It's a fighting game tournament, but they're going to have Melee there, and we're going to try to get 100 people. So we're going to rally a lot of West Coast players to come over. So if you guys are interested, it's going to be in mid to late May. I'm going to put the thread up later, and I hope to see you guys there. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, and I wanted to say one more thing, and I'd love to have Juggle Guy or Leffen, if possible, call in. So Juggle Guy had made a great point. He said the pause rule is not new. They shouldn't have to address it in anticipation of it being invoked for the first time. Okay, so the only thing that I would say to that is imagine a parallel example where we start a tournament like nothing's new, and Mage's DQ rule, which everybody in the history of the world actually knows, like to the letter. 2 minutes is a warning, 4 minutes is you lose a match, 6 minutes is you lose a set. Is that correct?
It's something like that. It might be a multiple of 3, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's 2, 4, and 6. So, point being, if I started a tournament, especially one like Apex, said nothing about Mage's DQ being enforced, we've gone to 100 million tournaments in the past 5 years, and it's never once been enforced to the letter. I've never seen it happen.
You're right, yeah.
And I go, I eat a big burrito, my stomach hurts real bad, I drank too much water, I have to go to the bathroom, it takes me 10 minutes, I come out and I'm disqualified from winners? If I took a long enough dump, I could be disqualified from the whole tournament. Am I supposed to expect that when I come to a tournament? Like, it's my opinion that if you're a TO and you're trying to run a good tournament, and you know that in the history of tournaments things have been played out a certain way, pauses happened a lot, guys. I mean, I feel like Juggle Guy, it's probably happened to you. Leffen, it's probably happened to you. Like, it just doesn't get enforced in the U.S. So, like, it's my expectation that it won't. And so the example for soccer, I would say that, like, if I trip somebody or kick somebody, I know what the penalty is. I might get a yellow card. I might get a red card. When I pause in teams, like, I have an expectation of what the penalty is. It's Leffen's going to be pissed at me. Ice is going to be pissed at me. I'm going to be upset with myself, I'm kind of ruining, I'm kind of ruining the set, and it really sucks, and I really shouldn't be doing this. But, never has anybody told me I need to kill myself. So, that's the point that I would like to make. I would love to hear an opposing position, but I've been told by 2 people very loudly that we need to move on, so we'll move on. Bobak! Hope you're ready. You beautiful, beautiful man.
But that just goes to the question of how do you change that, because any attempt to change that is going to be met with that kind of resistance.
So IMO, you just make the announcement at the very beginning. Hey man,
and
we are going to enforce Mage's DQ. Doesn't matter how many burritos you've had. If you need to go to the bathroom and you think it's going to take more than 6 minutes, you need to tell us, because otherwise you're going to get DQ'd.
Yeah. One last thing. I also think that this is a variation on the Mage's DQ rule that has been somewhat enforced in NorCal at locals in terms of showing up on time, which is instead of being DQ'd or forfeiting a round, you just have to pay more to keep entering in the tournament. If you come 10 minutes late, you don't get to play your tournament match until you give me $5. I think that is a bigger motivator, and it's something that people can actually expect us to enforce. And I think I talked about this before, but I'd like to hear, maybe post in the thread some ideas about that. Anyway, Bobak.
Welcome to the cast, my friend.
What's up? Can you guys hear me right?
Perfectly.
Yeah. All right. So I just wanted to kind of continue on the discussion you guys are having about the rules. I want to know how exactly we as TOs can relay the rule information to the players, like the most efficient way possible. Because I know no one, including myself, don't read rules. No one wants to sit there and read through pages and pages. I think FC, the last FC that they did had a straight PDF document with 30 pages in it. No one's reading that. So I want to figure out how to do that so this confusion doesn't happen over and over again.
Mm-hmm. So I think that ultimately, right, there's probably no clear answer. I'm sure we can come up with a lot of ideas, but I think that we should just try different things and see what works. We can use every local tournament to test new ideas. You could when signing up, when you pay your money, you say something to them, or you can have like a sign. You can make them sign a piece of paper. Anywhere on the one piece of paper that has this new rule set, you could just scream it real loud. There's a bunch of different things we could try, and I think ultimately we want to pick the solution that's not the biggest pain in the behind of the TOs, and also that enables the players to comply with what the TO wants. But point being, I think this all ties into a larger idea of a TO handbook. Bobak should not be expected to reinvent the wheel for everything, including how to communicate something very simple to a larger group of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we can't figure that out at every tournament, but we can grow our knowledge, and if we share our knowledge, then we'll be a lot better for it.
Like this whole DSR rule, like people still don't know exactly which iteration is which.
Yeah, Sheridan told me to remember it forever, but I have no idea which one's which.
Fuck you.
I just know the one that we always do is you can't win on the last set. That
nobody ever does that. Who's ever done that?
Modified's the one where you can't win on the last one you won on, right?
No.
Hold on. No. See, hold on. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna post it.
I'm about to call my mom and tell her, Mom.
I posted historical evidence.
Yeah, he showed me the first post from Dave himself.
Literally historical evidence from the guy whose name is Dave, who gave this.
Okay,
this
I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it in the chat right now. I'm gonna post it a couple times actually.
Shut up, Juggle Guy. This is my passion in life.
Read that shit. All of you, read it. Continue to read it.
Thank you, Bobak.
Like
That's
that rule.
No, wrong DA Dave, bro. Wrong DA Dave.
It's not DA Dave. It's
not DA Dave.
Scamp.
It's the one and only Scamp, the Scampadocious.
Scamp. Yeah.
From NorCal.
I think he lives in Reno now.
He does live in Reno now.
So now we know.
There's yet another NorCal contribution to history. Do you need any more proof that this is the greatest region in the world? Yeah. I don't think
you can't pick the stage you won on as modified, and standard is you can't pick the last one that you.
That's right. Standard is you can't pick the last one that you won on.
Stupid rule.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just call it the Genesis rule, so it's new and people know.
Wow, that's actually a great idea to change the name.
People like new shit, so they won't overlook it this time. Like,
I think
Genesis rule might be a little bit self-serving, but
I think we just have to move beyond standard and modified at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the real modified is the one that we should have, and not the one that was used at Apex. Unless somebody has some really strong feelings about this and wants to talk about it, I cannot imagine a scenario where you would want the standard DSR, except in conjunction with some other weird, rule set about stages.
And while you guys talk, I'm going to refresh again. Wow, guys, we're so close to 10K. We're probably going to end this stream in like the next, 10 minutes or so. So if anybody is not totally out of money, I know that we've done like a sick job, and I kind of even feel bad for asking for more. But if you have the ability, I'd love to get us over 10K for the night.
Don't feel bad about it. Like I said, I work for PBS, and this is intense with the numbers that we put up. You've outdone a lot of New York television programs, so shouts to the mailing community. It's all because of you guys that we're doing all this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, maybe even just the last $65 to give us 6K donated for the night is insane. It's already insane. Forget about it. Bobak, sorry I cut you off. Does that sound like a satisfactory answer to your question?
Yeah,
we just need to work together and figure it out. And I think that it would be sick nasty if if we just tried some different stuff.
I'm just more concerned at the tournament itself.
Yeah.
Like relaying info to people, because the PA system, to me, after a while, you kind of just ignore it because it's there and it's constantly just being used. So people just tend to not listen or use it to communicate to people on the other side of the damn venue.
Totally.
That's what walkie-talkies are for.
Yeah. Hey, Bobak, why don't you tell the people about that before you go? Why don't you tell that people about that initiative that we ran at the last Rule 6? So we accommodated some new players in a really cool way, and from what I heard, we had really amazing results. So,
Oh yeah, we
Bobak,
had
take it away.
for singles. Usually we do what $10 per event for singles or $10 per person per team. And so this time, to kind of get an incentive for new players or people who are reluctant to come to pay money, to just knock off half the entry fee for them. And we had like almost 20 new people show up. We had 60 people at our local that usually brings in, I don't know, close to 35 to 40 people usually. And it was a straight success. So I'm going to keep doing that.
Awesome.
How many additional players did we?
I think it was 18 total. Not all of them were new. Some of them were just kind of in the background scene. They just never come to tournaments because they don't want to pay the money. So
Yeah.
they came. A lot of new people came that have never even been there. I think one guy at the Campbell tournament, he straight bought a LCD screen TV because we wanted setups, and he didn't know that we all play on CRT TVs. So like that's how new people are to this, which is really encouraging. So
Awesome.
All right. Yeah. So thanks again, man. I think that
Yeah.
Everybody who is listening, if you're a TO, please consider doing another test of that like idea. The proof of concept went super well. So yeah, if we keep collecting more data,
Yep.
then
Yes.
I am pretty confident it's always going to be a good idea. But yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
and-
oh sorry, go for it. Go for
no,
it.
you go.
No, I was going to ask if anyone had Genesis questions to answer.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say that, we at the Genesis team are definitely trying to look for ways to, get around that problem of people not paying attention to the PA. And I think we have some cool ideas that we're throwing around that we really hope we can implement at Genesis 3.
Yeah, hopefully you guys have smartphones.
That's sick
Yeah.
nasty.
Yeah.
All right, so I heard that we broke $10,000 bills. So let me take it to the full screen. I'm gonna do another refresh. This is, by the way, the leaderboard. We are currently at, as of the last 30 minutes, we're at 9,700, and this next best is Skullgirls, who's been doing an amazing job in this donation rally with $4,400. There it is. $10,110. Somebody broke down the piggy bank.
Oh Lord.
Or broke out the piggy bank and hooked us up. That is out of control.
Pretty good.
We have now donated
Well,
$6,288 for the night.
That's insane, dude.
We ended breast cancer. Congratulations.
I guess I'm going to be eating a lot of ramen.
That is really incredible. Hopefully,
But,
hopefully that earns us our spot at Evo. We'll see what happens. Thank
Yeah,
you
we
so
still haven't
much,
matched yet.
viewers. This is really, really incredible. I'm super moved.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, we had maybe, I think, 350 people here at max. And
No, we had over
what
400.
At some point, wow. But we definitely, I think, tripled what was already in place, and we couldn't have done it without everyone here showing
Yeah.
their devotion not only to this game, but for a great cause in fighting breast cancer. So thank you, all of you guys, for tuning in, for helping with this venerable donation. So
All right, so here's what I would like to do. It is currently 9:16 my time. In the next 4 minutes, we'll accept the rest of the donations or whatever. I don't think that we're matching anymore because we beat our goal
Wait.
100 million years
Oh.
ago. But I'd
I
like
just want to add something, Scar. Sorry to cut you off.
yeah.
He's going to donate his Apex winnings plus another $100. So shouts to Leffin for that.
Wow, thank you, Leffen. That's awesome.
Thank you, Leffen.
Damn.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So yeah, it's awesome. At 9:20, I'm gonna donate my money. TCB. If you want to donate yours, please go for it. And let me just shout out all of our amazing backers. Without you guys, we couldn't have offered this great incentive. I still think that the community would have come out for us. It's really amazing what we've done, but without the backers, we couldn't have generated this much hype. So shouts to Crimson Blur, man. You said that you were going to match whatever I would, and we all kind of doubted you. The people behind the scenes who knew how much I was putting up, but it's really amazing. Thank you so much. Juggle Guy, Mogwai, Violence, Hab, and Toph committed $200 of their own money to match you guys. Thank you guys so much. Velocity, Bizarro, Flame, Zope, and Matt.Zeb pledged $100. Thank you so much. Prague is potentially on the hook for $500, but he has, whatever.
I guess
And then, thanks to me.
real quick. A member of the Scientology crew is in some dire straits right now. I was definitely down for donating $500, but that's first priority. One of my boys. I know you guys definitely understand.
Mm-hmm.
So my apologies, I'm not able to donate it at this point, but I'm waiting to find out from him because he is a little brother to me, so I want to make sure that everything is okay with him. But I will give something. I hope I can give you guys all 5. If not, we'll see what I can do. But I want to make sure everything's okay with one of my Scientology crewmates.
Hey, can anybody tell me what the processing fee is? I'm gonna switch this. Bobak, I'm kicking you off.
$2. Oh man, I want to talk about Genesis, dude.
All right, I'll leave you on. Tell us about Genesis. Can somebody first tell me what the processing fee is? Okay, so my total due is an absurd amount of money. What is this? Do I want to cover it? Do I not?
I don't know, dude.
Why is there a button here without any information?
I think this is something that perhaps you should research in your free time.
50 cents? Is it for everybody? Alright, well, we'll try. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
It's either you pay for it or it gets cut out of the donations, I think.
Yeah.
Everyone take notes for Scar's credit card number.
No, man, it's hidden. You guys can't see it. Hey, can somebody confirm that you can't see it? I'm fairly certain that you can't see it, but...
Yeah, I can't see shit, dude.
Come on.
If you type your password in the chat, it automatically starts.
Hunter 2.
Shout out to Hunter 2.
Would be a dope tournament name, Hunter 2.
Alright, I'm paying my money now. So you guys will see
see
a fat Scar donation in just a minute. Bobak, why don't you talk about the 3? Love it. Love it so much.
No, I just wanted to answer questions for people because
oh, absolutely.
I don't really have like a dedicated spot to kind of post things up because there's no thread yet. So if anyone wants
I have
to,
a question.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have been saying, we see how important Evo is to Melee. Mm-hmm. We're definitely seeing how important it is to the Skullgirls community as well.
Mm.
A lot of people have been asking,
This is a great question, Pro.
If you have it in your heart, would you be willing to host a Skullgirls tournament at Genesis 3?
I would love to. It's just I just don't know exactly what events we're doing. I don't know if we're going to keep PM as a main event or a side event. A number of tenants that showed up at Apex were pretty surprising. So depending on the number of pre-registrations and stuff we have the logistics and time to do a Skullgirl event. I have no idea how many people are in the Skullgirl community or how many people would actually show up. So if we can do it, I'm down to do it. It's just a matter of logistics. I just have to. I think Smash for me takes more priority than anything else since Genesis as a series has been only about Smash and nothing else.
That's pretty cool.
And so, yeah.
If we can, I would love to, but that's a great point. Even if even Project M is potentially on, the cutting board, it gets tough.
Yeah. But because I think, I don't know a whole lot about all the games at Evo, but I think it would have been nice to cut out maybe one of the weaker games of the 7 and give it to Skullgirls because it's been a really community-driven project. So it is a little disappointing, but the world moves on.
And as far as I see people talking about the round robin, the top 8 round robin thing they did at FC, I'm personally not a fan of it.
You're not a fan of what? Say again.
The round robin. You know how they did the top 8 round robin thing.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hated it.
I don't like it.
I
No.
don't think so either. Yeah.
No.
You gotta
So-
have it. It doesn't. It's not conducive to the hype finals.
It's not.
But you know what is
There's
awesome?
no-
Like, I mean, if people want awesome sets, I just feel like why don't we just get awesome sets going? Why don't we just run a bracket and then have awesome sets? Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why
We're
we
gonna
can't
have
do
awesome
that.
sets anyway, but you need to have one. They need to tell a story also. Like the hype sets were. It's great to have them in that top 8 round robin. It's great to have so many of them, but they don't really tell you a story as much as the
I think it kinda
bracket matches do.
I think it just detracts from like the top placer. Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the amount of work that they put in to get there and everything. I just don't know. And like, what if there's a 3-way tie? I'm not comfortable in putting
Yeah.
3 people in a single elimination round bracket to determine who gets first, second, and third. Like that's kind of silly to me. At that point in the tournament, like that's
Yeah,
your last
totally.
3 people. I'd rather not do that. So
All right, I donated. Let's refresh. See my G Wiz, and I'm super proud of it. Super happy that I had the opportunity to do it. 11K at this point.
Falling hard and out
11,
of control.
231, 69. Oh, I didn't update. I didn't refresh before. Okay, so before I did it was 1,000 less, right? Easy.
Sure.
Easy peasy. And let me see what Juggle Guy did. I think it was 200.
oh, and that's another thing. Best of 5 will be every single match in the bracket after round robin.
Sick, dude.
So
How many rounds of pools?
Probably 2 this time because 3 was a little overboard.
Yeah, I think that's actually a super good format. 2 rounds of pools
Yeah.
and
64-man bracket.
yeah, best of 5s. I actually agreed with what Lovage said. He said first round winners and losers is not best of 5, but after is dope. So
Yeah. I mean, it all just depends on how many people we get.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because the first one we played, a lot of it by ear, so barely anything was planned for the first one. That's why the last couple sets kind of saved the tournament for us, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, man.
Anyone else have questions before I take off? Prize fights? Oh, we should do that for Genesis. The same way we did for Campbell.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah.
too, and I think that we could have done some really awesome ones at Apex, especially considering how much time we had. But
Yeah.
you know,
Did
That's-
Johnny and Kage happen? Oh man, I really
think it
wanted
did.
that to happen.
Mhm.
It's one of my favorite money matches
me
the
too,
whole time.
me too, man.
But yeah, that's definitely, we could do that. And that'll make up for a lot of the hype sets that people don't get to see. Better.
Sweet asked a good question that I'm interested in too. How many? Any idea of how many? Like, say you get 300 people, how big are pools? How big are you going to try to make pools, and how many are you
Yeah.
going to try to have get out? Like, what are you
Yeah,
leaning
that's-
towards?
That's the tough situation. 256 is really the limit where you can get down to a 32-man bracket. Any bigger than that, and you either need to have really tough pools that are hard to make it out, or you
Or
have
around.
to do a 64-man bracket. We can't do 4 rounds of pools. That's just
Mhm.
impossible.
Hell no.
By
Yeah.
the way, I think Crimson Blur donated too because we're up to $12,000, $12,500.
Fuck.
So we actually went from we started at 3,000 something, right? We started
Yeah.
at $3,822, guys. And yesterday, like at night, last night, we were at like $3,500. So over the course of one day, like 24 hours, we actually ended up with like, 10K overnight.
Mm-hmm.
It's really absurd, and it's absurd. It's absurd. It's really amazing.
One
Guys
thing
are
I actually
fantastic.
wanted to talk about was the venue.
Yeah.
A lot of people, because last time we had some problems with some guy got mugged on the way back to the hotel. So
Yeah.
the place, I hate the place. I hate the area. Hate the venue. It's cheap, and that
Yeah.
hotel they do not give one single shit as far as like what we do to the place.
That's
Like,
the beauty of it.
Six
Yeah.
places, like 6 of the TVs
That's-
got wrecked. One of the beds were like in 3 pieces. Like they're like, whatever, it's fine. Do what you need to do. Like, okay.
Yeah. They probably,
that's-
because who the fuck needs to go to
Yeah.
Antioch and stay in a
No,
hotel?
they actually had Cornfest. That's their second biggest thing after us.
Yeah.
So, but I personally don't want to do it there. I'm trying to find some new venues and everything. But
Yeah.
if people like that place, people like the venue, people like the hotel, people like the experience there or whatever, I'm down to do it there. But I mean, I don't know. It's up
And
to everyone
keep
else.
in mind, it's, we got really lucky with the weather the last 2 times. It can be hot as balls in that place. There's
Yeah.
no fans.
Yeah.
The internet sucks.
There is no
maybe it's
internet.
better now. I don't know.
I hope
But that
there is.
hotel is the only thing fucking keeping
That's it.
that venue
That's it.
in consideration.
And the venue price itself, it was like
Yeah.
80% cheaper than anywhere else I've found. So I don't know. I'm trying. There's actually Alameda Fairgrounds. I drove by last night. They have some sick venues there. But we'll see.
Yep.
I don't know. I really don't want to do there.
Oh wow, dude! Crimson Blur beat me by $1. What a jerk! Wow, that was so rude, dude.
Let's we should also take note of everything that people donated and posted up in the thread so they can get recognition.
Yeah, we
I
can.
know DOH said he's going to donate his winnings as well.
Thanks
I'm
so
gonna,
much, Joe. That's awesome, dude.
at the very least, I'm going to donate the commentary money that I made because I mean now I was getting that. So
Yeah, why don't you guys, everybody who donated, feel free to either send me a PM through Smashboards, feel free to, tweet, post in a
Or-
thread somewhere.
actually, I was
anything,
going to
and we'll recognize you.
I was actually going to put together a video. If anyone wants to go ahead and like take a picture of themselves holding how much they donated, I'll toss together a video just with everything. So
All right. Well, I feel pretty done. We covered
Yeah.
a lot tonight. I'm
It's 12:30.
super
I'm going to
tired.
bed.
Yeah.
It is probably bedtime for a large number of people, but
I'm gonna go get some
let
fucking
me,
Wingstop.
I want to just say one more time that I'm like super proud of what we've done today. We're just doing like a little podcast here, you know what I mean? And this community has supported us in every way that it possibly could. I feel like you totally exceeded my expectations. I feel like we probably exceeded everybody's expectations tonight. So, yeah, I see a lot of Melee Forever in the chat. Melee, love you guys. Let's do the final refresh. We're almost at 13K after all the matches are going in, and
Let's go, girls.
yeah, thanks again for tuning in. Please follow my Twitch channel. There's a button right up there, and just hit the follow button. We'll probably be live every 2 weeks.
also follow Video Game Bootcamp, who provided the secondary stream.
Twitch.tv/VGBootcamp. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Any final thoughts, Bobak?
I guess everyone just be patient for as far as Genesis information goes.
Wow,
We're still
he just
trying to
tells us to
develop
be
shit, so.
patient. Wow.
Yeah, dude.
What a
Dude, I
horrible
got
sign
home.
off.
I had like over 200 notifications and like 60 messages from people I've
Holy
never talked
crap,
to.
dude.
It's pretty amazing.
Just
That's-
be patient. We're still trying to figure things out
How
ourselves.
do you even do that? How do you fucking go through all those?
I didn't.
Yeah, if anybody wants to do a last wave donation, it's 9:30 right now. I'm going to turn the stream off at 9:35. I'm putting a hard time on it. So,
Yeah.
and I will outro with the correct song, for the correct video.
I have doubts about your ability, but I'm rooting for you.
I believe.
Wow.
Sheridan, I'm gonna buy you a webcam. Tired of looking at your 3
Now,
legs.
what? You don't like my kitty cat? He's nice.
Like cats in general.
All right. Well, apparently Bobby got me one or something.
I did.
Oh,
I spent my
good shit.
own money on your ungrateful ass.
My cat's name is Momo.
Yeah, 3-legged Momo.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's awesome.
He is an amazing cat.
Wow, Momo the boy.
Yeah.
Well, that's something. Bobak, any last words?
No, I'm good.
All right, I'll catch you around, man.
Womack's dick is hard.
God.
This shit was fucking hilarious.
Alright, goodbye,
Some
Bobak.
dude posted this shit on Reddit. He was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Womack's dick is hard." No, dude, that's not the right name.
Wait,
at
it
all.
was Womack?
Yeah.
Dude, that makes me think of director Womack at from The Rock. If anybody's seen the most amazing Michael Bay movie in the history of the world, aka The Rock, yeah. Well, Sheridan? No, Prague. Prague, are you? Oh,
What's
I
up?
reached the 4-hour limit for the call.
Yeah, what is
wow.
this?
All right,
Oh, crap.
guys. Bobak,
Peace out,
I'm
guys.
kicking you off.
All right,
Yeah.
Good night.
see you later.
Peace.
Prague.
Rest in peace,
any
Emily
last
Hurst.
words? Rest in peace, Emily Hurst. Sheridan.
Died of breast cancer 20 years ago, December 26, 1992.
Oh, is that your grandma?
Yeah.
Cool. Beautiful.
Megabus.
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 Sheridan, last words?
Just thank you. This was. I had no idea that this was going to turn out this way, and it's just made my day. So
Beautiful. Beautiful. And from me, we are doing the last refresh for the night. And we come in at $12,771.69. I'm so happy we have that 69 cents on there.
me too.
That's really really made everything better. So this is no longer relevant. Wait, I'm just gonna keep it the way it is, and then end that number. All right, thanks so much, guys. So regarding episode 4, episode 5, we will have another one probably in 2 weeks. So I don't know what the exact demand is for the podcast. You know,
Yeah.
it seems like people are super into it, and we generally have a lot to talk about. We almost always run over time. I might feel pretty good about making them a lot shorter and doing them every week. This one was, of course, like we had a special event going on, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a different kind of show. But yeah, next time we will attempt to channel episode 2. Where we're a lot tighter about the conversation. We're going to do a lot more planning. Recently, with all the tournaments and the holidays and so on and so forth, the staff hasn't had a ton of time to be super in sync. But we're going to work on it.
Word.
And yeah, thanks everybody for calling in. It always sucks that I can't get everybody to call in because I really want to hear from everybody who wants to share their thoughts. But yeah, that's it from me.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. Signing out, Scar, Prague, and Sheridan.
Scientology and Megabus.
Good night,
Match
my
made in
friends.
heaven.
Jesus Christ, it's not playing. Come
Pulling
on.
for you, man. I'm pulling for you.
Dude.
got this.
I loaded it the same
Prove me
exact
wrong,
way
man.
that I...
Prove me wrong. I'm waiting for it.
Play. Dude, if you guys could only see my screen. There's a play button and it's just not doing it.
Mm.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's a shame.
Wow, I really suck at this. Alright, I'll just full screen it.
Is the
Signing
video
off.
paused?
No. It was playing, but it just didn't do it. How do I Shout out to Ski Sonic!